So today we're doing a draft only rebuild. That's right, no trades, no free agent signings, no Rule 5 draft, no waiver claims. Only the first year player draft is the way to improve this team. But this one's going to be a little bit more difficult because this time I'm limiting the player pool. That's right, I could only draft international players. And it wouldn't be a draft only rebuild if we didn't start with a complete 0 overall team. So man, this one's going to be difficult. And if this rebuild wasn't difficult enough, I have 3 challenges that I have to accomplish. First one is I want 2 Rookie of the Year awards. The second one is I have to have 3 90 overall players. And the final and most important, let's win a World Series. So with that being said, let's get to the first draft and let me show you what my process is. All right, so with the scouting, I'm thinking I'm gonna discover prospects in one position every week: pitcher, catcher, infield, outfield. Like, I need to discover players, and I need to discover as many players as possible just because I'm limited in who I can draft. So for scouting, this is probably my process. I'm gonna discover prospects for the first like 3, 4, maybe 5 weeks, just because I need more talent in the player pool. My second process is probably just going to be scout pitching as much as possible: relievers, closers, starters, because duh, I need pitching. And then the third one is probably going to be scout individual positions, and if there's a player that stands out, then I'll scout that player once I'm done discovering prospects. So probably by week 4, week 5, I'm going to take that first scout and I'm just going to have him start going after individual players that really stand out, and then these 2 here will just continue to scout pitching and position players. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully it works out for us, but let's get to the draft and let's go start this draft only rebuild. So we're in the draft, and if you want to see a USA only draft rebuild, hit the like button. If we get 1,000 likes on this video, I will do a USA only rebuild, and we'll kind of compare the 2, see which one's the best. But here we go. Let me show you the prospects, and I'll show you every prospect that I scouted, because I did scout every international player at least a little bit. And as you can kind of see, there's some like decent potential players, but at the same time, not a lot of high overall players. So I would like to get Villanueva, but I'm not going to. We have the 20th pick. I didn't think about that when we took the Toronto Blue Jays, but I figured we should probably take a team that's out of the USA. Toronto fits that bill, and so because of that, we have the 20th pick. But we do have 2 second-round picks, so that kind of balances it out. But as you can see, there's definitely some high overall or high potential players, just not a lot of high overall players that we can choose, which honestly might work out. And my thought process here is, because they're lower overall, they'll start to develop together, and then, you know, maybe by season 7-ish, then they'll all start to be high rated together and we'll be good. Plus, the next couple of years, we're going to be really, really bad. We're going to have probably a top 5 pick every single year because of the lottery. That way, if we do get a generational talent or like a higher rated player, these guys already have a couple seasons to develop. So timeline wise, it might actually work out. These 2 shortstops are high on my list in Edgar Valdez. Probably going to be in the 60s, good potential, can play a couple different infield positions, looks good. Rich Castilla also looks pretty solid. I like those 2 a lot. We take a look at third baseman. We do have Lawrence Gonzalez, who definitely is a power bat, but vision discipline might be an issue here. This guy looks to be a good late round pick if he's available. Second base, a little bit of a mixed bag. Giuseppe Belliard from Germany. I don't. Is that a German name? I don't feel like that is. I don't feel like that is. And first base, a little bit of a mixed bag too. There's a couple iffy names. And then Mike Metler's kind of the other standout player. Catcher, probably going to be close to 70 overall. Probably going to be somewhere around the 90s for potential. It's just, I don't know. I really don't know what to expect. There's a couple decent pitchers, this one being the main one in the bullpen. Couple okay relievers. And then starters, of course, Jaime Santiago from the Dominican looks to be one of the best players in the draft, and we're not going to be able to get him. And there's a few others, but one guy I like, even though his potential is not that high, is Soto. I think with the walks per 9, we can work with that. And then also Cosmo Guillen looks okay. We've got a couple like lower potential guys that might be okay. And then Derek Maraville, which besides the walks per 9 looks pretty decent. So if we can get him a little bit later, that'd be huge too. So let's see what happens. I don't really know what to expect. Not a lot of high overall players, which might actually work out for our kind of timeline anyways. So let's just see what happens here. I really don't know what to expect. First pick is going to be Jaime Santiago, easily the best pitcher in the draft. Makes sense that he goes number 1. We've got the second pick, which is the Reds. Yeah, Robert Travis. Didn't scout him because I can't, and then I can't draft him. And then the third one, who are we going to have here with the Rockies? It's going to be Brandon Argue. Didn't even scout him because I couldn't even draft him. So I'm just going to skip to my pick. What's going to happen? Who did we miss out on? So the left fielder, I didn't scout him because I knew I couldn't draft him because he was going to get chosen before us. Did we lose out on any of our picks that we wanted? So Chavez, no. Fuentes, okay. There's one guy that, you know, he actually made it a little bit farther than I expected. Let's see. Lawrence goes. Bummer. But honestly, we've got our choices, and I'm kind of torn here between, I mean, Escalona is probably a smart move, huh? Same with Soto. Caruso, 87 potential. I'm trying to see the other, like, where they fall on the draft board. 12, 40. Okay, so realistically, we're looking at Mettler or Valdez. I'm trying to think. Generational talents. I don't see a lot of shortstop generational talents. So, like, even if we do get a high-rated pick next year, like number 1 or 4 or 5 or whatever it is, and there is a generational talent, I never really see a shortstop that's a generational talent. I feel like catcher, third, and then maybe every once in a while you'll get an outfielder sprinkled in there. So I feel like I take the chance. We don't take the catcher, and we take a shortstop. But at the same time, I do feel like I could get a shortstop a little bit easier. He can also play first base, but I also feel like I can find a first baseman pretty easily. But will I find a good catcher? I do also like this vision and discipline a little bit more than Mettler's. But Mettler's vision and discipline for the future doesn't look terrible. I do like the speed. The fielding looks a little bit better on Mettler. I'm wasting a lot of time talking about this. It's going to be one of these two. Do I want the Canadian or do I want the Dominican? Man, that mustache is really drawing me in. It's a little hypnotizing. I think I'm going to take the shortstop. I think I'm going to take Mettler because he's younger, and then hope that we maybe get one of those shortstops a little bit later in the draft. We're going to take Mike Mettler. So second pick, let's see what happens here. Valdez is gone. So where are we on the board? 58. I mean, I guess I can take a look here. We could get that closer, which might be a smart move. Montalvo. We've got Soto here. Do I take the Castilla? When's my next pick? 76. Castilla might not be there in the next pick. So this would be my chance to get that, like, second base, that third base, that shortstop that we didn't get with the first guy. So I think I'm going to take Castilla here. I feel like that way we at least get one of those middle infielders. And then next pick, now I feel like we just kind of take whoever. I think taking Ordonez makes sense here. Getting at least one bullpen arm. He's the number 1 rated player on the board, even though we don't have fully scouted. But I definitely think for the future, at least having one bullpen arm is smart. He's 19. He's going to develop with the team. Or do we take the pitcher who's 18 and I think could also develop with the team? The pitch control's not great. I'm trying to see where we're at 76. So I feel like these other guys should be available a little bit later. So it's the closer or the starter. I feel like we're going to be able to get pitching later on in the draft too. So let's go with Ordonez. I know it sounds crazy, but let's take Ordonez. Next pick, Soto's still there. This guy's still here too with really good potential. He is 23 though, so that might be an issue. So do we take, let's see, pick 99, and then we have 129. So he might be there later. He might not. I don't know about that guy. I didn't really scout him that much. So this is tough. Because I only have a limited player pool to choose from. So I think I'm going to take the higher potential player. I think that makes sense for the future. He is a little bit older though, but I think for the future it makes a little bit more sense. Next pick, they're both still here. Why does this guy's future stats not look that great? Right? Like they look well-rounded. But does that really mean he's going to hit that potential? I'm going to take the pitcher, even though the potential isn't the highest. And then We'll take Devin McGee because he's one of the only players that I have left on the board. And we'll finish it off with someone that I scouted. Maybe someone that I scouted a little bit more, that I have a little bit better of an idea for, that I like their stats. I think I'm going to take Herrera here. Is that who I want? Or maybe Pruitt is... I don't trust this. I don't trust this at all. Yeah, he just doesn't look that great either. So I think I'm going to take... Ooh, hold on. Who's got the better control? We'll take Herrera. Or do I want Pruitt? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'll take Pruitt just because he is a reliever. And that way I don't have to worry about another reliever for the future. I think that makes a little bit more sense. So with that in mind, that's our first draft. And to be honest, I don't know what to expect. As you can see, the team's not doing that great. We haven't won a game. And to be honest, I don't think we've even been close. If we look really quickly, I see a 9-run deficit there. We did score a run here against the Giants. Ooh, 4-2. Impressive. Who was putting it? Who got the 2 RBIs? Joe Random in right and Joe Random at second. And the first pitcher allowed 4 runs, and then we didn't allow a run for the rest of the game, which is honestly, I mean, that's kind of crazy that actually happened. So if we take a look at the rest of the league, we scored 3 runs here. You know, we allowed 40 in this game, which is kind of crazy. And it doesn't really look like we got too close. We had a 4-run loss here against the Guardians, which still isn't the closest that we've come. You know, 1-5, 2-9, 1-7. So yeah, we've been a pretty terrible team. Yeah, it's been pretty ugly. But we're not here to learn about how well the team's been doing just yet. We're here to find out, how was our draft? The View draft, honestly, from like here onward, I didn't really know what to expect. And to be honest, I'm pretty happy with that. Really happy with that. So we've got Mettler, 94 potential, 68 overall. I will be a little worried about the vision, discipline, and clutch moving forward, but at least decent fielding, an okay bat, we should be fine. Again, a potential for Castilla. I think he's going to be more of like a second baseman with that fielding, but decent speed, okay hitting, looks very similar to Mettler. So there's that. We've got Ordonez, who looks really solid. Again, a potential, 65 overall. Clutch and control are a little low, which could be a worry, but I'm okay. We got a good reliever for the future. Maravilla, again, looks okay. Doesn't allow home runs. The rest of the per 9s are pretty low, but he's only 62 overall. He is 23 though. So we'll see how that works out. And then Soto from Mexico, lefty. Okay, not bad. Again, time to develop. Devin McGee, 53 overall, is 21, but good fielding, good speed. Could just be like a good, kind of like a Terrence Gore type player for us, where we need a stolen base. We'll have him on the bench ready to go. And then Johnny Pruitt with C potential. Good pitch mix, fastball, curveball, cutter, change, and slider. Reliever, definitely a reliever. And then back to Mettler. So not a bad start. What is that? 7 players right off the rip. That's good too, to fill out the squad a little bit. So let's head to season 2. All right, so the beginning of season 2, let me talk about last year. And Judge and Austin Riley, MVP winners. Cy Young was Yamamoto and Jacob deGrom. And Rookie of the Year was Caminero for the Rays, along with Yamamoto. The World Series winner was the Brewers. As you can see, Joey Weimer. Either way, he won World Series MVP. The postseason MVPs were Josh Naylor and William Contreras. Other player that I wanted to highlight was the shortstop. I think he's with the Diamondbacks that we didn't draft, Valdez. I forgot his first name, but he is with the Diamondbacks. I remember because I looked. And Edgar Valdez, the stash man. The stash. I think the character, that's what we need in the team. But we'll be okay. Good speed, decent. He's got 8 potential. I think I looked. It's actually 92, so it's very similar to what Mettler has. But there he is. He's with the Diamondbacks. But let's get to the draft. Hopefully we can do well. I will say I need some luck on this one. All right, so we're at the draft, and you see that guy at the top? I need him. I need him in my life. So we've got plenty of pitching talent, and I'm not too stressed about that for later rounds. We have the second pick. The Royals jumped up like 2 or 3 spots to take the number 1 spot from us. And so with that in mind, we've got Bautista here, who's a catcher. I think more of a first baseman. He's 6'3". The hitting stats are what really draws me to him. He's got decent fielding too. It's just we don't need a catcher with Mettler already on the team. So I think he would be a guy that I would move to first base. We've got Heel out of Venezuela, shortstop, can play. Looks like he can play all middle infield positions, third base as well. Good fielding, good hitting stats. I'd be okay taking him with the number 2 pick. This guy here, I need you to be ready for what you're about to see. Cesar De La Rosa out of Puerto Rico. Look at the fielding, but look at the hitting stats. Potential in the 90s, overall in the 80s. I know the Royals are going to take him. I know there's no chance of me getting him, but one can dream, one can hope. Let's see what happens. I'm going to get one of my position players, right? I'm going to get Heel. I'm going to get Bautista. Really want De La Rosa. So please don't take him. And they didn't take him. Oh man. Cesar De La Rosa getting the team. Holy cow. That's insane. Good Lord. That's unbelievable. How did they? Yes, give me more of that, please. I didn't scout that guy because I wasn't going to get him. Now it's just whatever happens. Realistically, I do need some pitching. I am going to double check. What pick is this? 40. So let me really quickly. Let me add this guy so I don't forget about him. Hope maybe we can get him in the next round. 88 potential, 89 potential, 85. What's he looking like? No. Well, maybe for a later pick. Let's see. Anybody else standing out? Gus Hudson? No. Maybe throw this guy on for like a late pick. Catcher. I'm not really feeling any of those. Do I go reliever second pick? I feel like that'd be kind of crazy. So I think I'm gonna look around and see which one of these pitchers looks the best to choose, because we definitely need some pitching. I'm gonna take Marte, and only because he's got really good control already, and I feel like because of that, with the velocity, the break, the decent pitches, I think he's gonna be fine. I think Campillo also looks pretty good. It's just the control's a little low, plus the walks are a little low as well. I feel like Marte's just got a little bit of a step up on him. So I'm going to take Marte, and hopefully that wasn't the wrong pick. We'll have to wait and see. Next pick. Now, what are we at? 76. I think we may... Let's see here. Wait, yeah, 76. Maybe now we start to take another 76 to 106. I don't think we're going to have many position players left that I'm like, we should go and get. So I'm going to take this guy because of the potential. It's a little bit of a reach, but again, I feel okay with that. We still got 3 more picks, still some pitching available too. Ooh, only 2 left. So I'm going to take Casilla because I need pitching. We cannot miss out on pitching. And number 5 now, do still have some relievers available. So I might take one. Let's see here. How are we looking? Maybe not. Maybe we take Matos. I'll throw him on the board along with De La Cruz. And do I take the injured guy or do I take another position player here? Let's take Hearn just to get an extra position player. And final pick, I think we take one of these relievers, and I'm gonna go with Matos. And I think that's it. I don't even care about the rest of the picks. We got De La Rosa, and that's all that matters to me. Like, I'm not even kidding. That first baseman is going to be amazing. Alrighty, it's time. Was De La Rosa one of those where the scouts let me down, or was it a huge get for us? The draft gods are on our side. Cesar De La Rosa, the Puerto Rican, 8 potential first baseman, is now a Blue Jay. Holy cow, 86 overall, 95 potential. That's crazy. All right, so we've got Marte, who has 90 potential. He's 60 overall. I like the control, the velocity, the break. The per 9s will get there. We've got Carrasco, who's got B potential, can play second base too. Okay, switch hitter with good speed, not really a good hitter. Casilla's got B potential as well. And then Hearn also has B potential, but super low rated. So we'll see what happens there. And then Matos, C potential, 78's not bad. 59 overall. I think he'll be a decent bullpen arm. Let's go find the catcher and the shortstop that I was looking at, just to kind of see what the other 2 were. I know they're not going to be anything close to what this is, so I'm not worried about getting that pick wrong. Just kind of interested to see what they were. Oh, he went to the White Sox. 89 potential, 72 overall. Looks like a really good hitter. So even if we wouldn't have gotten De La Rosa, I think this would have been a pretty decent backup. But hey, we got De La Rosa. The pick the Royals went with was John Lima out of Venezuela, 61 overall, 89 potential. So the potential is not bad, but they missed out on a pretty good player. And then Stephen Hill went to the Nationals, and I mean, the arm looks great, the reaction looks good, the hitting stats look pretty good. B potential, 72 overall, 87 potential is not bad, but man, what a pickup for us. So another season where we didn't win a single game, and that's okay. I'm not expecting us to come even anything close with like a complete team of 0 overalls. Not expecting an award or anything because we didn't have any of our players to be there. Oh, Judge hit 71 home runs because he's playing a bunch of 0 overalls. That's why. But he did hit 71 home runs. Yeah. I think even with the 0 overalls that he's facing, I feel like this is the first time I've ever seen a player crack the 70 home run mark. Like even last year he had 55. So like I'm just saying that's still pretty impressive for what he just put up. That's crazy. On the other side, Aaron Nola took the MVP award. Okay. Cy Young obviously is going to be Nola, and this time it's going to be Garrett Cole. On the AL side, just kind of flying through the rest of the awards, which there's some kind of normal ones there. And then Rookie of the Year went to Justin Henry Malloy of the Tigers, who put up a really good season. 34 doubles, 22 home runs, 102 RBIs, 122 walks. What? And then almost 200 strikeouts too, but still hit 321, which is crazy. And then we've got Drew Gilbert on the other side for the Mets. Okay, Spencer Arrighetti, no longer an Astro, but with the Brewers. And I guess that's really about it. I guess we could take a look at our top prospects. Do we have anybody in the top 10? We do. It's the closer, Ordonez. Metler's a top 10 guy as well. And let's just take a look. Ordonez, AA, up to a 71 overall is pretty good. Looks pretty good. Had some really good growth this year. Love to see that. We've got Metler, who looks like he's moved up to AAA. Some okay improvements, like the power versus righties, but the -2 for contact versus righties isn't great. I don't like seeing that. Castilla up to a 60, +10 power versus lefties. That's huge. Soto up to a 60 as well. Pretty good growth. 65 for Maravilla, which, okay, +1 for the hits per 9 isn't ideal. I'll say that. Pruitt up to a 59. I like that growth. +3s, +2s. And then Devin McGee up to a 55. -7 contact versus left. Not great. I mean, that's really about it. I mean, we can see really quickly who is the World Series champ. It is going to be the Cubs. No chance. Let's go take a look at the Cubs really quickly. And Swanson, Horner, Suzuki. I mean, that's just the Cubs with Sebi Zavala. Okay, what did they do pitching wise? Nothing. They added Steven Okert. That was their big addition to make them win the World Series. Either way, Cody Bellinger was the World Series MVP. Carlos Correa was the postseason MVP, along with Ian Happ, who hit .424 with 23 RBIs. And okay, if the Cubs win the World Series next year, I'll go crazy. Either way, there it is. You've seen the progression with the team. You've seen our draft picks. It's time to get to season 3 and just continue the process. I mean, if we're getting De La Rosas every season, I think this will be a pretty easy rebuild. Season 3, I really need a good draft because we're at 13 players. We have half a MLB roster right now, but obviously those players aren't going to be in the major leagues. Really quickly, top prospects, Cesar De La Rosa hops in at number 2 in all of baseball. Ordonez is still a top 10 guy at number 8, and Metler just misses out on the top 10 at number 11. We do have a couple others. I believe Casilla and Marte's at 32. We have, where's the other one? Casilla at 53. And I think Castilla was the other one we have. Where is he? I think he's the last one we have at 91 in Rich Castilla. So we do have a couple top 100 prospects. There's that. So we currently have 13 players. Obviously, we need 26 for the full roster. But the thing is, none of our players are even like close to being MLB ready. We do have Maravilla. That's really about it. You see a couple other names. I'll point that out really quickly. Singer down to Ramirez are all players that I signed just to fill out the rest of the roster because our Joe Randoms have retired and I need players to fill out the team. So what I did is I made sure they were all Americans. That way I could differentiate our drafted international players to our signed players to fill out the team. With that being said, I made sure they were super low rated, so they were basically like 0 overalls anyways. And now I'm looking at the team going, we do have De La Rosa, we do have Metler, we do have Ordonez. Outside of that, those guys really aren't close to being MLB ready, and I can't manipulate De La Rosa for too long. He definitely needs to be in the MLB, and realistically, he should be in the MLB right now. So I really need like season 4, season 5, or season 3, 4, and 5's draft to be really, really good so that we can start putting all these players in the major leagues. So with that being said, let's get to season 3's draft. So heading into this draft, again, not a number 1 pick. The Pirates, who were the number 2 spot in the lottery, ended up getting number 1. There is a clear number 1 player that I want. It is this guy right here, Julian Domingo out of Puerto Rico. The hits and the control, or the walks and the control, a little low, but I need him in my team. I need him in my team. If we can't get him, I think the next one is going. Okay, well, I'll explain it in a second. They take Richard Chon. He was also very good. He was one of the players that if we didn't get him, if we didn't get the Julian guy, this is one of the guys that I was going to look at. He is from South Korea. He looks really good. The strikeouts per 9 are a little bit low. He looks like he's going to be somewhere in the 60s. Really good potential. This would have been a very good plan B if we didn't get the guy that I want. Other prospects, there's plenty of them, plenty of relievers that I discovered, but also just really good relievers in the draft pool, and some really good players that we can get later on in the draft. So I'm pretty happy if we don't get all of them. Like if we don't get a position, or there's some good position players that we can get later on in the draft. So if we don't get any in the first like couple rounds, I'm okay. I'm probably going to focus on pitching because we really need it. A player that I noticed that didn't get signed but is back in the draft, Gus Hudson out of Canada. Looks like he could be a decent hitter, so I might pick him up later on if available. With that being said, Domingo is going to be joining us in the team. Yes, the walks are a little low. Yes, the control's a little low, but he is the guy that I want. I think this guy looks good too. Just the potential doesn't look as good as Domingo. So I think that makes my choice a little easier. Raul Esparza also looks good, but again, I'm going to go with Domingo. The potential is just too tempting. And then the third pick, what are we going to see here? Is going to be Esparza, actually, the guy that we highlighted. So he goes to Miami. Next pick, I think I'm going to go pitcher again. This time it's going to be Antonio Dorta out of Venezuela. Potential looks good. Overall looks good. The hits per 9 and strikeouts per 9 are pretty low, but everything else looks really solid. 3 pitch mix, which I actually think our guy that we drafted in the first round had as well. He does. Interesting. But either way, we're going to take another starter. We just need the pitching. We got to get him. So let's take a pitcher. Third round, I'm torn between 2 relievers in Val Dell out of Canada or Jason Chambers. I think I'm going to take Chambers just because the control on Dell looks a little bit low. And I think, but Chambers, the walks per 9 is a little bit low. And, it took Chambers because I took too long anyways, deciding, okay, that works. I think I was going to take Chambers anyways, so it works out for us. Yeah, either way, it's fine. So we've got a couple picks here. Elmo Dean out of Australia. He looks good. I just don't know what the potential's kind of low. The overall looks a little low. Olivo looks pretty good too. Can play, no chance he can play first at 5'7", but hitting stats look fantastic. Or do I take Gus Hudson, who could potentially make it to us in the next round? And I do feel like we do need some outfielders over a first baseman. So I'm going to take Olivo here, I think. You know what? Because Olivo is not ranked, I'm going to take Hudson here in the 4th. And then hope that... they actually both make it. So I'm going to take Olivo here. And we're going to finish off with whoever is available that looks good. Am I going to take another catcher? I am going to take another catcher. 23-year-old Kenny Domingo. If anything, just a backup catcher, which, you know what, that's perfectly fine. If Metler gets tired later on in the rebuild, he's just our backup catcher. So now it's time to get to everybody signed, and please have some high-rated pitchers. Honestly, what I need to start doing is take the higher-rated pitchers that may have the lower potential maybe like in the 3rd and the 4th round, just to ensure that we get some good pitching. I could also make those starters into relievers. We might need to start taking some pitchers now, or maybe the next couple seasons, or at least start taking players that are maybe a little bit higher rated, just because we do have that crazy good first baseman in De La Rosa. It might be best to just start getting players that are close to MLB ready. It sounds bad, but taking those higher rated players with maybe a little bit lower potential at least kind of accelerates the process. And that way we're not just wasting De La Rosa's talent. So we'll have to figure it out. We're only in season 3 though. We got plenty of seasons moving forward, and I feel like we're getting some really good talent in this team. So let's see what happens. Let's see what players also we scout, because if we can find those players that maybe are in their mid to high 70s with like low 80s potential, that might actually help us out too. Season 3, did we get it right? We did. 95 potential for Domingo, just the type of pitcher we needed. 74 overall, good potential. Looks exactly like De La Rosa. Either way, he's in the team. Clutch isn't great, control isn't the highest, but at least he's higher overall, so he's a guy that we could accelerate a little bit. Dorta at 64. Man, those hits and Ks per 9 are looking, yeah, that's pretty bad, but we'll see, especially with that high walks per 9, the high home runs per 9. I think we'll be able to work with that. Next up, Chambers at 64 overall, looks pretty good. Looks like he's going to strike out a lot of guys. Hudson at 53 overall, looks to be just a good hitter. I like that. Olivo, kind of that stereotypical outfielder that we get in MLB The Show, with the fielding being really bad, but he can hit and he's got decent speed. And then Domingo, like I said, is just going to be a backup catcher, and we'll be fine there. So overall, a really good draft. A player we missed out on was Francisco Angeles, who is from Puerto Rico, but it's fielding and speed. The hitting stats just aren't there. We have a couple guys that look like this, and that was kind of a reason why I didn't really highlight him, because even though his potential looks fantastic, and I didn't know it was going to be 99, but even though the potential was great, he just didn't look like a player that was really going to help us. So I kind of missed out on him. Campos is a pitcher, but I was actually headed to... Yeah, we missed out on this guy, huh? But he would have been a 2nd round pick, which means we wouldn't have chosen that starter. So I'm okay there. But this is the guy that went number 1 overall. Honestly, looks really well rounded. So I don't think it would have been a bad pick. 91 potential, still pretty good. I think this is a good pick. It's just, ours has a little bit higher potential. I'm trying to see. Good closer there. Oh, they got 2 good closers. Dell actually looks pretty good. Maybe he was the right choice over the guy that we got in Chambers. I kind of like his attributes a little bit better. That might have been a miss on our part. That might have been a miss on our part. Another 99 potential player, but Luther is out of Hawaii, so he wouldn't have been a guy we could have looked at. So yeah, I mean, overall, I'm still really happy with our picks. 90 potential for Chambers. You know what? It's still a very good reliever. So we got 2 good relievers, got a couple good pitchers, a couple good position players. I'm feeling pretty good about it. So still no wins. Understandable. We're still a terrible team. We do have a league leader though. In innings pitched, 246. Juan Soto had quite the season. It looks like he led the league. I kind of just want to see home runs right off the rip. 61 for Jordan. Judge dropped off to 43. 49 for Otani. Really quickly, the awards was Jordan for MVP with 61 home runs. I mean, still a really good season. 59 the year before. Like to see that. Spencer Strider, holy cow. 21-3, 2.56 ERA, 1.14 WHIP. He is the MVP. So that's back-to-back pitchers on the NL side. Obviously, he's going to win the Cy Young. Pablo Lopez wins it on the AL side. Batting title goes to Soto and Drew Gilbert. Okay. Merriweather of the Cubs, who's the reliever of the year, along with Sam Hentges. And then Jackson Holiday, rookie of the year. And Yohandy Morales of the Nationals. Okay. Really quickly, top prospects. Obviously, he is going to be, because Jackson Holiday probably, graduated since he was in the majors all season. Ordonez, I think, moved up a spot. Metler also moved up a spot. Marte moved up quite a bit, so that's good to see. Just really quickly, we'll fly through what we've got going on here. Let's see, what is it going to be from McGee up, right? Because that's not us. No, yeah. So McGee up to a 57. Hitting stats don't look great. I think he's just going to be a bench guy for us throughout this entire rebuild. Hearn up to a 50. Okay, nothing too crazy there. Pruitt up to a 63. some good growth. I like what I'm seeing. Carrasco up to a 60. Again, probably going to be a platoon guy, but we're also kind of thin on the outfield positions. We only have 3, McGee, Carrasco, and the guy we just drafted. I have all the names on a spreadsheet here in Olivo. So we definitely need some outfield help, and we're still a little short on infield help too. Matos actually looks pretty good at 62. For a 62 overall player, he looks good. +6, +5, solid. We've got Maraville from Puerto Rico. Good 4s, 5s, a couple 4. Yeah, I mean, still shy of 70. So we'll see what happens. But at least he's growing fairly quickly. Soto up to a 63. We've got Castilla up to a 62. Looks like his power dropped a little bit versus lefties. Casilla up to a 59. Marte up to a 65. Getting there, but not too crazy. Metler up to a 75. The fielding looks great. The power numbers are still going up, and some good vision and discipline growth with +5 for both. And then Ordonez 74 overall, like that. And of course, De La Rosa up to an 89. I feel like he's got to be in the majors, but with the way our team's set up, he's got to just get the Barry Bonds treatment, right? Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's got to get the Barry Bonds treatment. There's just no reason to pitch to him. So, like, is it worth it? I mean, he's 21. He'll be 22 next season. Maybe one more season in the minors, and then he'll be a 90-something when he makes the bigs in 2028. I feel like that's a dumb idea, but we'll have to figure something out. I mean, he's got, 95 potential? The Rays defeat the Phillies in the World Series. Let's see who won the MVP. Carson Williams in his rookie year only played 24 games, but he comes in, gets you that World Series MVP. Josh Lowe with 21 RBIs was the postseason MVP. Alec Boehm on the other side. Was Carson Williams even starting? He was. Okay, I was making sure because he hit like 5-something in the World Series. I was thinking maybe he only got like 3 at bats or something like that. I don't know. I know math wouldn't work that way, but either way, the Rays win the World Series there. Now season 4, looking at it, I guess we still need like a couple pitchers. So maybe 1 or 2 pitchers this next draft if we can really get a good one. And I would really like another, like a good hitter. If the defense is bad, the defense is bad. I would like another good hitter. I am asking for a lot. We're still only in season 4, so it's not like we're too far into this rebuild. Let's get to the next draft. Season 4's draft, and again, we didn't get the first round pick. Every year, we're just gonna have someone jump in front of us, even though we are clearly the worst team. This year, it's gonna be the White Sox, and this year, I already know who I'm gonna go with. I'm gonna go with this guy right here because I feel like he is one of the better pitchers on the board in terms of being close to MLB ready. There is a third baseman that I'm considering in Lorenz because I think he's close to being MLB ready. It's just that MLB has him at 3, we have him at 30. Like, he looks good. The potential is going to be somewhere in the 80s. He's probably going to be somewhere close to 70 overall. Hitting wise, he doesn't look terrible. It's just like the vision's a little low. The power versus righty's a little low, which it's not the biggest problem. It's just like, I feel like he's kind of limited, especially with the vision. He's probably going to strike out a decent bit because vision is strikeouts. Discipline is how many walks they usually take. So I think that's right. I think it's vision is the strikeout number. Discipline is the walk number. Or it could be flipped. Either way, clearly the vision could be an issue. And also, I don't know, something's not like, I'm not like looking at it and going, wow, I want him in my team. So yeah, I just feel like none of these players really stand out. I could go Andres Rivero, but again, overall wise, he's probably going to take 3, 4, 5 seasons to become even close to being MLB ready. Tino's probably in the same boat because the hitting stats don't look that great. The vision and the discipline also pretty bad. So I'm kind of just looking at some of these offensive guys going, who do I take? Do I really reach and I take Danny here? I don't think I really like that option either. I just don't want to reach too much on an offensive player, especially when I can get some later on in the draft. Someone like Adrian Santiago here, who the power doesn't look great, but the vision and discipline already look fantastic. The contact doesn't look bad either. Yeah, the potential isn't going to be that great, but if I can get him in like what, the 4th round? What's 109? Yeah, the 4th round. Maybe even I reach a little bit, get him in the 3rd round. I feel like that's pretty good value. Like, we have him ranked at 81, which is around our 3rd pick. So like, if we can pick him up in the 3rd round, where his potential is probably somewhere high 70s, low 80s, I think that's a good pick rather than wasting our 2nd round pick on someone like Danny here, who's going to hit well. So who might also have similar potential to Santiago. So with that in mind, I think I'm going to go pitcher for my first pick. I might even go pitcher for my first 2 picks, because someone like Jeff Samuels, yeah, the overall's low, but look at that potential. There's also Muriel. There's also Diaz. So we've got a couple different pitchers here, but I think this is my number 1 option, as long as the White Sox don't take him, which I don't think they will, considering he's ranked 24th by MLB. But hey, the CPU likes to take the players that I want. So let's get into this. I've told you who I want, and then basically after round 2, I think it's just kind of who's available on the board. So the number 1 pick is going to the White Sox. Obviously, we've talked about that. It looks like a guy with the beard. It is Mark Dotson, who looks like he's going to be a decent pitcher, or he's going to be one of those that he looks way too good on paper and then is absolutely terrible. So like I said, we are going to go with, oh, this is a reliever. That's why I'm not going with him. He looks like he's going to be gross. It's just, I don't want a reliever right now. I want David. David from Chinese Taipei. Join the team. Looks pretty good. And then the 3rd pick, I forgot who has it. Is it the Pirates that has the 3rd pick? It is Randy Frisch, which again looks like really good on paper, but he might be terrible. So next pick, and oh, everybody's available. Man, this guy doesn't look that great. Low hits, low walks, low control. I am out. Anybody? Gregory Sixto is kind of a baller name, but I'm looking here. This guy's potential can't be that great. Also, like, the hitting doesn't look good either. Man, I think I'm gonna go one of those pitchers that was at the beginning. You know what I mean? Just because I'm looking elsewhere and no one's really standing out. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go one of those pitchers at the beginning. So it's gonna be one of these 3, but which one? I'm just gonna take the best available in terms of what our scouts think. Walks per 9 also looks pretty good. So we're gonna go Carlos Diaz out of Venezuela. Number 3, pick 76. I did say I was going to take that outfielder, but MLB has this guy ranked at 80th. So I am going to pick him up. That potential looks absolutely gross. I also like the beard. Get into the team, Jeff Samuels. 4th round, and he is available. The right fielder that we talked about at the beginning of the draft. It actually worked out perfectly. Adrian Santiago is in the squad, the right fielder. We do need a little bit of outfield depth too. That is perfect. 5th round. Okay, so there's an outfielder, center fielder. I don't really want to take another outfielder. Don't really like any of those. 19 to 50 overall. There's no way he's even close to being like MLB ready. And looking at the other position players, we do have this first baseman, which I'm going to see if I can get him in the last round. I don't think he's going to be that great. Maybe versus lefties, with that contact versus lefties being somewhere in the 50s or 60s. But outside of that, what about this guy? I mean, he doesn't look much better either, but I'll throw him on just in case he falls to the last round. So I think he's still available. Oh, that's no brainer. I mean, come on. And then final round, Brian Oka's available. I'm just going to take him. I don't think I really want anybody else based on those hitting stats somewhere in the 50s. I don't think there's really anybody else. Do I have anybody that's like kind of highly scouted? Let's see. 40%, 40%. Potential at 68 as the highest. Good Lord. I don't think I have anybody. Yeah, I think we're going to go with the first baseman. We have 100% scouted. Might as well take them. That's our draft. Still fully defeated, which is surprising because normally about this time I at least sneak one win. Somehow we at least get one win. But I guess we do like have a team of full 0 overalls still. So I guess that does make sense. Normally I do have some like lower rated players in the team. So I guess it does kind of make sense. Did it go correctly? Yes. 86 potential for the first player isn't amazing, but hey, with 94 and 95 behind him and a 93 later in the draft, I'm definitely okay with reaching on our first pick. Really quickly, let me see if I can find one of those other players that we talked about in the first round. Ooh, this is the catcher, right? This was third pick, 71 potential. Yikes. Andres Rivera was the guy that I talked about, right? He looks okay. Like, I think he's going to be a good player. It's just those hitting stats, they're close to 60. He actually doesn't look as bad as I thought he was going to be. Definitely could have chosen him. But again, I feel okay with what we did. This was the guy that I talked about as someone that could potentially step into the team immediately. Honestly, I thought his hitting stats were going to be a little bit better. Just a little bit. Still 62 overall, which isn't terrible, but okay. Okay, where was that? Where's Tino? Where is Tino? Hold on. Ooh, the Mariners got a pick. Wow. And can play every position on the infield. Okay. Okay, there's Tino. He went to the Astros. Honestly, I think Rivero looks better. Similar fielding, similar speed. I think actually the guy that has higher potential, what was it, like 94 potential, looks a little bit better. Yeah, I think he looks a little bit better. Just the contact numbers look a little bit better. But overall, I'm pretty happy with what we got here. Let's see. Did we miss out on anybody else? I don't think so. I think we kind of got everybody that we wanted. This was like our highest player according to our scouts. I think he was like number 4 on the board. Again, I can't take a reliever first round. And yeah, so we went with Diaz in the second round too. I think this is a good one. He's almost 70 overall. David is 65 overall. Yeah, the Ks per 9's a little bit low, but everything else looks pretty solid. Jeff Samuels has got that high potential, 95, 61 overall. So he's a little bit more of a project. Santiago, look at those 60 contact, vision, discipline, and clutch. Already great. Switch hitter, fielding, yeah, not great, but decent speed, decent steal. I think he's going to be pretty solid for us. Muriel, 58 overall. But you know what? The walks are a little low, but like good hits per 9, good control, good home runs, and clutch already. I don't think that's actually too bad. I really don't. And then Oka at 48. Yeah, he's probably going to be a bench bat for the entire rebuild. So there is that. We will finish off the season. We'll talk about the prospects that we have in the team, and then we'll go from there. I mean, season 4, so far the drafts have been fantastic. It's just we got to start putting a team together. So again, a defeated season. Let's go take a look and see award winners. Jordan had 63 home runs. Judge had 57. Okay. Nathaniel Lowe, now with the Giants, has 50. Okay. Strider with his second Cy Young, beating out Senga and Woodruff. You got Kelman Gonzalez. Okay. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, 4.11 ERAs, definitely winning Cy Young when you've got 2 better performing pitchers, but okay. And if we take a quick, the Giants just have everybody now? What is their team looking like? What? Young Holy, Wade Meckler in left. Then they've got Yandy, Nathaniel Lowe. You've got JP Crawford. What? Jonathan India. Okay. Jose Trevino over Patrick Bailey. Elliot Ramos on the team. Toro, Abraham Toro, Victor Robles. How many moves have they made? Joe Rock, I believe, is with the Rays in real life. What? What is going on? John Gray, Michael Walker, Jim. Hold on. What is going on here? That's insane. All right, so back to the awards really quickly. Kelman Gonzalez, I mean, he won the Cy Young. Of course, he's going to be Rookie of the Year. And then Robbie Snelling won it as well. Okay, really quickly, let's go take a look at our top prospects. That's just the easiest way to do it. The number 1 prospect is that guy that went to the Phillies, who has 99 potential. I don't know if he's going to be that good, right? Ted Luther, unfortunately couldn't get him. I believe he also has 99 potential. We do have the 3rd best prospect, though, in Domingo, who's up to a 79 overall. We also have the 5th prospect, which he honestly didn't do that great in AAA this year, which is crazy because he's 92 overall. But he didn't. He hit like 260. His OPS was under 800. I'm going to have to call him into the majors. He excels at pinch hitting, and he's a day player. How is that possible? How does he excel at pinch hitting? He should be starting. But yeah, contact versus righties going down 2 is not great. We didn't take Dell, and he's one of the better prospects in baseball. And I think that's really about it. I think We do have number 11 in Ordonez, who did struggle a little bit this year in AAA, I believe he was. And then Mike Metler's actually up to almost 80, and he was mashing in AAA. So let's talk about our team. Domingo is an 80-ish overall, almost an 80, but I'm definitely worried about that clutch and that control being low. He might actually not be great. This might be one that I think is like, yeah, it's great to have this overall. I don't know if he's going to be good. I really don't. We've got De La Rosa, who's up to a 92. We have Ordonez, who's up to a 78. He actually looks like he could be good. He did struggle, but I definitely think he could be a pretty good reliever for us. Metler is almost an 80. He looks pretty solid. I'm going to see if I can get these guys in the minor leagues for one more year. I'm just looking at our team going, I don't know if we can, I don't even know if we have enough to fill out a whole roster, do we? 7 plus 12, what's that, 19? And then the 6 that we drafted this year, and we do have 25. So I guess we could technically fill out the whole roster, which I think is a bad idea, but we might as well do it and see how the team performs. Jason Chambers, 67 overall at AA. We've got Marte, who's a 69 overall at AA. We've got Casilla, who's a 63 overall. A 68 overall for Antonio Dorta, who, I mean, we'll see how that goes. Rich Castilla is up to a 65. He had +7 versus lefties. Soto's up to a 67, which is a pretty good growth. We've got Maravilla, who's up to a 72. And Matos, who is a 65. I believe that's everybody, right? Oh, no. We do have a couple more. Hearn, 54, +10 versus lefties. Okay, I see you. Carrasco's a 61. Pruitt is 65. Actually looks pretty good. McGee's up to a 60. And then Olivo's up to a 62. With those hitting stats, I am down. We might actually surprise, and I'm not going to say we're going to do well, but we might win 10 games. Gus Hudson, 57 overall. The hitting stats actually look decent. Just contact's a little low. Kenny Domingo, 57. And then he's not a prospect. So I said we had 19 prospects. That was all 19, I think. Good to go. Season 5, let's do it. Season 5 time, and we're actually going to have a whole lineup. I say that with quotes because pitching rotation is a little thin, right? We don't have a full rotation just yet. What we do is just, I'm not going to call them up just because Domingo, Dorta, Soto, Ju, I want to give them a little bit more time. I guess Domingo could potentially make it into the majors. It's just, I'm gonna give them another season, or maybe like a half a season. We do also have a full rotation in AA, so we've got some names. Obviously, these guys that are on waivers were players from the United States that I just used to fill out the rest of the minor league roster. And then Pruitt, Ordonez, and Matos are going to be in the major leagues. So let's see how that goes. Lineup wise, the only position that we don't have somebody is center field, which we could call up Santiago, Oka, or Hudson. It's just, I feel comfortable with the current lineup that we have here. Our top 3 are our best hitters, and then from 4 down, it's just basically random. I just kind of put players there to see what would happen. So we do have De La Rosa in the majors. We have Metler, and Olivo, I think actually might be good because of the discipline, the clutch, the vision, and the contact being pretty high. So overall, I don't expect much. I'd be surprised if we win like 10 games, 15 games this season just because the pitching's so bad. But let's get to the draft. Let's see how the 5th one goes. Really, I'm looking for, at this point, I'm looking for just, let me get a player that can hop into the team in the next couple seasons. So there's that. We do have 190 overall players, so we're halfway to the 90 overall thing. We still need 2 rookies of the year, obviously the World Series as well. So, oh no, we need 3 90 overall players. So we're a third of the way there. I had to double check on my like spreadsheet that I got going on, keeping track of like all my picks, my challenges, everything like that. So one of the 90 overall players, it's just, we got to get a little lucky going forward. We need some players to start developing. So let's see how it goes. Let's get to the draft. And, oh man, the draft. I'll talk about that in a sec. All right, let's talk about the draft. We have pick number 3, which is a bummer because pick number 1 jumped up 11 spots in the lottery, and pick number 2 jumped up 9 spots in the lottery. What do I got to do to get pick number 1 in this rebuild? Like, I can't get it. Everybody's jumping in front of me. Either way, I've got a bunch of players on my queue, and let's talk about it because this draft pool was terrible. We don't have a lot of, like, we don't have a lot of good like top talent. We kind of have some like good players. And we've got a couple pitchers here which look pretty solid. I'll just do all the players that I scouted. Like this guy is clearly the best player in the draft. I just don't want a closer. I do need a closer, but at the same time, like I can't choose a closer with my first pick. If he makes it to the second round, I'll consider it, but not with my first pick. But we've got this guy here, Riddick out of Canada, who throws 86 at best with this fastball. He's got what was his velocity? 23 to 28. I don't think I've ever seen that low on a pitcher. We've got Irizarry, who looks pretty good actually. I think this is a guy that I might take him with my first pick. I think he's going to be my first pick. We've got Caruso, who could also be my first pick, an impact bat that I think is going to be close to the MLB ready right off the rip. We've got Vasquez, who looks okay, doesn't look too bad, controls a little bit low. We've got Junior Salazar, who he looks okay as well, but I think he's probably one of the lower rated players that we could choose in the first round. We've got Estevan, not just Steven, Estevan. We got Estevan Munoz out of the Dominican. Controls a little bit low, but overall he looks decent as well. Just the potential's a little bit lower, but overall wise, he's probably going to be a little bit higher. So I'm going to see if I can maybe get him in the second or third round. I think he'd be a good second or third round pick. We've got Raul Encarnacion, who we scouted, and again, higher overall, lower potential. And that's kind of what this draft was. A lot of players that are probably going to be in the high 60s, but their potential isn't going to be as high. So I just noticed that like you're going to see a lot of like green potential players from what we scouted, which it's not a bad thing, but it's also like, man, I'm going to have to get my draft like perfect to make sure we get the right players. This guy was in a previous draft and he didn't get drafted. So I guess he came back. I mean, he's going to be like what, 43 at best overall wise, but the potential is pretty good. But we'll see what happens. I mean, there's a lot of like these players like mid 70s to low 80s potential with like okay potential, like okay overalls. Like you can see like Marte, there's Fong, there's Rodriguez, like just kind of like this range of potential and overall. A lot of these in this draft. So I've already chatted enough about it. I have the third pick, so let's just see what happens. Let's see who gets chosen. But yeah, so the Rangers moved up 11 spots in the lottery, and the Phillies moved up 9 spots. I mean, what is that luck? What is that luck? So Riddick goes number 1. So he was a possibility for my pick at number 3. So they took him away, which okay, that's fine. Number 2 is going to be Fletcher McKinney. Okay, man, interesting. I looked at him just because I wanted to see like what the potential and overall like range was looking like and like what his attributes were. I knew I wasn't going to be able to scout him, but if this is going to be a generational talent, because I know there's going to be a generational talent in this draft, or at least some draft. I don't just mean this draft. I know there's going to be a generational talent, and I know it's not going to be a player I can get. I just know it's going to happen. I already got lucky with De La Rosa. That's going to be the one player for me in this whole rebuild. Every other crazy player is going to be American. I already know it. So we've already talked about it. And I think with this pick, I'm going to go Caruso or Irizarry. Do I need pitching more or do I need hitting more? I kind of need both. But looking at the rest of the drafts, I feel like I can get Encarnacion a little bit later. I feel like I can get Castellano a little bit later. I can get a couple other guys. Like Cuevas doesn't look terrible. Santo doesn't look terrible. So maybe passing on the infielder is the move here. And then we go a pitcher in the first round. Because like the strikeouts and the home runs are a little bit low, but the walks look great. The hits look good. The control, the velocity, the break. Or do I take the second baseman and we get another like good bat? And then we take maybe Vasquez, Salazar, there's Estevan. That's a tough one. I'm torn because I think I'm going to be able to get position players a little bit later in the draft. I'm going to take Irizarry. Caruso looks good. He does. The potential looks fantastic, but I'm going to take Irizarry, and then I'm going to take I forgot about Estevan. I think we're okay. Let's go to the next round. A couple guys were taken, but I still think I can get this guy next round because he wasn't ranked by MLB. I think I can get Castellano. So What pick is this? 39. I think I'm going to take Castellano here. Oh, Junior Salazar still available too. Munoz is ranked 136. What's my next pick? 77. I'm going to take my chances here. I'm going to take Castellano at this pick just because he's ranked 53. And okay, they're all available. I'm going to take, what pick is this? 77. I'm going to take Steven here. And okay, we're still looking good. We're still looking good. We did lose. Who did we miss out on? Who was the guy that just got taken off our board? I totally forgot. The catcher, was that it? Was that the only player that we missed out on? That's huge. That's actually huge. So now, do I want to take Encarnacion? Do I want to take a reliever who he honestly doesn't look bad? Do I want to take Cuevas? I think the right choice is going to be Encarnacion, and then we see if we can get Salazar in the next round, because I definitely need another position player. So let's go Encarnacion here. We'll go to the next round. Salazar is still available, which is awesome. And then the final round, everybody was taken. So I'm gonna see if maybe there's a reliever available. I think we go Marte, and if he's bad, he's bad, but at least we get another reliever in the pool. I think we should have taken that other guy, but I feel like this was an okay draft. So we're at the draft, like view draft pick day. We had an all-star. Obviously everybody gets one. Ours was Cesar de la Rosa. Understandable. He's got 104 hits, 25 doubles, 23 home runs. He's hitting 265 with the 875 OPS. Pretty good season so far. Just over halfway through the year. Looks pretty good. But yeah, awards. He is an all-star for us, our only representative. So there it is. We are currently 7-100, which is pretty impressive. We just shut out the Brewers not too long ago. We did just recently have a shootout with a 12-8 win over the Astros, which, as you can see, Devin McGee, who's like 60 overall, had a crazy game. Nate Hearn, who's like 60 overall, had 4 RBIs, which is pretty impressive. And then we had a couple Joe Randoms pitch. But Miguel Matos is 3-0 on the year with a 5.40 ERA. So there we go. I think another pitcher that we have, Derek Maravilla, has 3 wins. We just took a series away from the Twins, which, hey, I will take that. And our first win came against the Oakland Athletics, where Miguel Matos came in and got the win for us. And if you can see, their pitcher had 5 runs, 2 of them earned, which is a tough loss for him. But for us, we had a 4 RBI day for De La Rosa and 1 for Mike Metler. So not a bad season so far. I figured we'd win around what? I said we wouldn't win 10. We've got 7. I don't know if we'll actually make it to 10, but let's go take a look. How did we do? 89 potential. Okay. All right. Okay. We've got Castellano, who also has 89 potential. Definitely a glove first guy, which I thought he would be a little bit better hitting, but I guess I was wrong there. Steven isn't going to walk anybody. So he might be, I might make him a reliever. He's close to MLB ready, which probably should just throw him into the major leagues, but also like a little lower on the stamina side. And I think if I made him like a closer, he could be pretty decent for us because we are going to need bullpen arms at some point. So I'll keep that in mind. We've got Encarnacion, who looks okay. Not too bad with 80 potential, 94 potential for Salazar. And then also Marte, who was a reliever, who once his per nines hit like the 60s, he might actually be pretty good. And then he's got 74 potential. The second baseman, let's see, where is he? Was this the number 1 guy in the class? I think he was. That control at 23 is a little bit of an issue and low clutch, but I mean, 95 potential, not bad. There's the second baseman. Yeah, good fielding, good speed. I guess maybe he was the right choice. Maybe we should have gone with him instead. He would have immediately helped us out into the team. Good vision, discipline, clutch, and contact. I mean, we could use a hitter like that. And I'm trying to see if there's any other, what a name, Dudley Pearson. I feel like a Dudley Pearson would play for the Brewers. I feel like that's just like a Brewers name for a player. Salvatore Nieves from Indiana. Really, you couldn't, maybe like not be from Indiana, maybe like Venezuela or something with a name like that. Come on. Let's see. Anybody else that I like recognize that maybe we could have taken and we didn't? Honus Bush out of Canada. Definitely wouldn't have taken him. but I'm trying to see Silas Phillips. I know he wasn't one. I feel like, oh, there's Riddick with 89 potential. He actually doesn't look too bad. He just doesn't throw hard at all. He tops out at 82 on the fastball. Yeah, I feel like, okay, we did fine. Not a lot of high potential players from what I'm noticing. There's our generational player that would, Fletcher McKinney. First generational talent of the whole rebuild. And it's a guy from Washington, second baseman, goes to the Phillies. Yeah, I mean, I don't think I'm gonna get a generational talent. I feel like De La Rosa was our talent, and that's we're just gonna have to deal with it, which I'm not hating on it. I mean, the guy looks absolutely insane. So overall, not a bad draft, but I felt like maybe could have done a little better. So 9 and 153, one shy of what I kind of expected at 10. Okay, all right. Let's see. We have an award. Please be Rookie of the Year, because I don't know if we're ever going to get another like clear-cut chance of having one with Cesar De La Rosa. Like, he is a 90 overall player and he should be in the race. Did he win it though is the big question. That is the big question. Like, we need this one. He didn't win it. So Yordan Alvarez won MVP with 60 home runs. He's been mashing 3 straight 60 home run seasons, 44 home runs for Lindor. He wins MVP on the other side. Steele and Chase Hampton are the Cy Young winners. Soto and Matt Olson, batting title. Reliever of the year went to Matt Strom along with AJ Puck. And Rookie of the year was Spencer Jones, who hit 42 home runs. Harry Ford also had a 318 average with 102 RBIs, and De La Rosa finished third with 35 home runs, a 255 average, 350 on base percentage, and an 860 OPS. 35 home runs, solid. 84 walks. I mean, when a rookie hits 42 home runs, you can't really compete with that. 35 for Brock Wilkin on the other side, the NL side. That is a bummer. Really quickly, let me take a look and see where we ranked as a team. Dead last for batting average, dead last for runs, and home runs, dead last. What about ERA? Did we get a little bit lucky and maybe weren't the worst team in baseball? No, we were. We had a 10.33 ERA. That makes sense. I don't think any MLB records have been broken. No. Judge came close with the home runs with 71 that one year, but let's take a look. Let's see how the team did. I think a Joe Random got removed here, but let's see here. None of these guys. I don't think so. Hold on. Let me see. Yeah, I think just maybe a Joe Random from here got moved out of the way. Either way, let's talk about our prospects or the players on our team. So Johnny Pruitt had 200 innings pitched, 6.12 ERA and a 1.7 WHIP. My thing here is I'm just looking for growth a little bit, not as much as I was hoping for. Ordonez, almost an 80 overall, had a 7 ERA. He also threw 145 innings though. That's way too many. And then Matos with B potential now. That's huge. Crazy growth. Sub 5 ERA, 160 innings almost. That is good. At least getting B potential is good. He'll improve too. I like that. I think that's really about it, besides Maravilla, who now has B potential. That is one of the downsides, right? We are risking losing potential for poor performance, and it happened. Not ideal. So if we take a look here, I think that's about it. Domingo up to an 83. I mean, do we call him up? Do we just say, let's see what happens? Maybe. Soto's up to a 71, had some really good growth this year. Dorta's up to a 71 as well. Yeah, okay. All right, not bad. David Jew's up to a 69, and he is not one of our prospects. If we take a look at Carlos Diaz, he's up to a 73. He doesn't look too bad. We've got Marte, who's also up to a 73. Also some pretty good growth. Casilla is up to a 66, and Samuels also up to a 66. A lot of plus 6s for Samuels, and then Muriel is up to a 64. Only reliever to worry about is Jason Chambers, who not bad growth either. Lineup wise, we'll take a quick look at Gus Hudson, who sat in AAA all season. Yeah, I'll take plus 4s, a plus 7, and a plus 6. 62 overall, looks like a good hitter for the future. And then Santiago plus 10 and plus 7s. Yes, 66 overall. I think this is a guy that I think we give him a AAA season and then we call him up in 2 seasons from now. Brian Oka's up to a 53, which is still pretty low. I know that. And then if we go from the bottom up, Kenny Domingo, 232 average, 18 home runs is pretty impressive. I'll take that. I mean, that's some good growth from him. Nate Hearn, 57 overall, 5 home runs, 25 doubles. Like, the numbers aren't great, but like the growth is good. I'm looking for that. Devin McGee's up to a 64. He had 13 home runs, 680 OPS. Okay. 67 for Casilla. Yeah, not an ideal season. Carrasco's up to a 65. He had a 704 OPS and a 260 average. I'll take that from our second baseman. De La Rosa, we talked about him, finished 3rd in Rookie of the Year. So we need to get a little bit lucky with our Rookie of the Years going forward. We still need 2. At least we have a 90 overall player with De La Rosa, so that's one of them. Ooh, Mike Metler, +8, +9 with the contact. Not a bad season, just under 800 OPS. I will take that. Any quirks? No. All right. And then Olivo, our leadoff hitter, I'll take a 340 on base percentage for sure. The contact didn't grow though. That's a little disappointing, but everything else did. So a little bit of a mixed bag there. Overall, I'll take it. I'll take it. Do we have a top prospect at all? We have Domingo at number 4 and Diaz at number 6. So I feel good about the team. Let's go see who won the World Series. Last season, it was a Brewers-Guardians rematch, and I forgot who won. The Giants ended up defeating the Twins this year. I guess we could just go like this. And Josh Naylor won. So I believe the Brewers won it the first time. So this time the Guardians get their revenge. Nathaniel Lowe is your World Series MVP. And then postseason was Andres Bautista, which was a player, season 1's draft? Had a pretty good season. Okay. Yeah, 8 +8 for contact versus lefty. That's a pretty good growth. And then Soto, Silver Slug. No, I don't want Silver Sluggers. I want postseason MVP, JP Crawford. Oh yeah, the Giants have like a crazy changed team. They have like their entire lineup's like completely different, right? Like they've got a bunch of new names. Yeah, Contreras, Paredes, JP Crawford, Nathaniel Lowe, Christian Franklin from the Cubs. Okay, Jonathan India. This is just like a brand new team. Alcantara, what? No wonder why they're winning. That's a juiced team. Off-season time for season 6. My manager retired, which kind of sucks because I kind of liked his attributes that he had. But overall, I don't really know what to expect because I guess I got to get lucky in the draft. All right, season 7, and this is what the team is looking like. Offensively, we have a full roster. Gus Hudson is taking over the cleanup spot and in right field. We're pretty bad defensively, I'm not going to lie. But I think with that clutch, he's going to be a really good cleanup hitter. The clutch at 79 is crazy. In AA, we're going to have these two. Or in AAA, we're going to have these two. And then in AA, we're going to have these two. Outside of that, we're going to have the rotation looking like this in AA with a couple guys to fill out the roster here. We're going to have these 4 as starters along with Marte and Chambers. And then new starters in Domingo and Dorta making their debuts at the major league level with the 3 relievers still staying the same. So I'm feeling good about this. We're slowly getting there. I still think we're like a season or 2 out from like actually being a team. Like we have a full rotation, a full bullpen, an okay lineup. I still think we're like 4 or 5 seasons away from like even coming close to like a 500 team. I feel like we've got an okay team. Like some of these guys actually performed pretty well last year. It's just depending if we can get a couple guys to develop. And then also I got to get a little bit luckier in the draft. Having a limited player pool is making this very difficult. So let's get to the draft for season 6 and we'll go from there. I feel like we're close. We're close to being like, you know what? We got a couple good players. Like we've got these 2. I don't mind Olivo. I think Hudson is going to be fine. We'll leave it at that. And then I think Santiago is going to be decent as well. I think he'll help us out. It's just we need a couple more offensive bats that can really boost this team up. And then just the pitching is just a waiting game at this point. We need those guys to develop. So let's get to the draft. All right, so for the draft, we have the second pick. I think the Diamondbacks jumped up 5 spots to get the number 1 pick, which... Can I please just have the first round pick or the first overall pick? But I think I'm going to go Tom Chen here. I think he's just one of the better hitters available. Plus, the speed looks fantastic. He looks like that typical outfielder build that we always get in MLB The Show. But there's Iwamura here, but he is clearly a glove first guy, and I don't think the hitting stats are going to turn out to be much in the future. We could go a reliever here. He looks fantastic. We could also go Rolando Hand. We could go Kevin Caraballo. But I feel like if we're looking for someone that can help us out, and I feel like could be one of the better players available right in the first round, Tom Chen is probably that guy. So I think with that being said, that's going to be the move. There's a couple relievers that I might grab a little earlier than usual, just because I think they look pretty good, and I don't think I'm going to be able to get Cy Lawrence. I have a feeling he's going to be one of those guys that gets chosen before I can choose him. If he falls to me in the second round, I will take him. That's 100% happening. But if not, then I think I will potentially reach in the second round for a reliever, just to make sure that we start getting some of those relievers in the team. We need some bullpen help, and I just don't know if we have any starters that can move to the bullpen and help us out. So it's probably going to go Chen, then maybe Cy Lawrence or a reliever, and then maybe Rolando Hand. That's kind of what I'm hoping. And the reason I'm thinking Hand makes it to us in the third round is because we discovered him. And I'm hoping that's going to work out for us. And then basically from the fourth round on, I'm just going to guess. So yeah, that's really what's going to happen. I'm really hoping Hand makes it to us in the third round though. So let's see what goes number 1 to the Diamondbacks. It's Dane Bowen, the third baseman. We have the second pick. We mentioned Chen. Boom, there we go. Tom Chen, the center fielder. He is a Blue Jay. And then the third pick is the Athletics, and it is a long-haired player named Louis Cross. He's a pitcher, starting pitcher, looks to be the number 1 player on the board, according to the scouts. We'll see, though. Next pick, Cy Lawrence got chosen. Did he get chosen? The Reds. What was that, 3 picks before us? Okay. All right, so who do I want to go here? This guy looks like he's going to be low rated, but man, does that potential look great. I kind of want him. Like, yeah, the overall is going to be like, what, 59 or something? Maybe mid 50s, but why does that potential look so good? Or do we take him? We don't have him like crazy scouted, so like his potential range could go up. The control is a little low, but like everything else looks pretty good. I think I'm going to reach here and take Martin. I think I'm gonna reach here and take Martin. I think he was ranked like what, 59, so I guess it's like what, 10-15 spots early, but we need the bullpen help, so we might as well get one. And then next rounds, I guess we take Rolando here. Yeah, actually I'm gonna take this catcher and then hope that Rolando makes it in the next round. Does he does. Oh man. Woo. Ooh, I got lucky there. Okay, here on out, I literally don't have a clue, because most of the players that I have scouted that are left, these third basemen look absolutely terrible. They're going to be in the 40 overalls. So I think I'm just going to start taking some really bad relievers or pitchers. That's really what I'm looking at here. Coronado, sure, get in the team. And final one, I don't know. What do I take here? Everybody looks like they're going to be 12 overall. Do I take Willie Campos? Can't be good. I guess we just take, I don't know. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. We're just going to go like this. Boom. That's who gets chosen. Ruben Uribe. Welcome to the team. All right. So we're actually a 20-win team. All right. We're moving up quickly. Let's see here really quickly what the team's looking like. Hey, almost everyone's under a 5 ERA. Like a 5.25 really isn't the worst. And the bullpen's looking okay. What about one of our relievers? Anybody looking good? Mark, he's only pitched 10 innings. Oh, it's because I need to put him in the middle relief. Yeah, that's my bad. I meant to put him in the middle relief. That's why he hasn't been pitching a lot. All right, let's see how he pitches in the middle relief spot. And anybody dominating AAA? Okay, David. Estevan needs to be moved up for sure. I mean, pitchers are looking good there. Offensively, let's see. Those guys can stay in double A for now. Triple A, is he looking to be called up here? He might be. He might be getting called up. How we looking, Metler? I need you to wake up. Anybody? I guess, you know what? I think it's time. No, we need to service time manipulate. We need to service time manipulate because we may not, you know, we might as well keep losing. Kind of that we need a tank still, and there's no reason to rush him. Let's let him keep developing in AAA, getting better, and then we'll make changes as needed. But we're here to see how the team or how we drafted. Okay. You know what? I don't hate it. Like, yeah, we could have gotten a couple higher rated or higher potential players, but let's see if we can see any that stand out. I don't think this was a guy that we could have gotten. No. Jorge Torres, no. Quinones was, but he doesn't look that great. Phil Huff is definitely not. Let's see. Feliciano is, but you know, I'm not really interested there. 50 overall, no thank you. 99 potential, couldn't have gotten him. 91 potential, this was the #1 pick. He looks pretty good. Couldn't have gotten him. Anybody else? I'm not really worried about that. Okay, this is the shortstop we looked at, Iwamura. Defensively, he looks great. Offensively, he looks terrible. Absolutely terrible. Cy Lawrence was the reliever. Ooh, he looks really good. He looks really good. But I wasn't going to spend a first-round pick on him. Can't do that. But any other... Couldn't have gotten him. Could have gotten him, but... 56 overall, I don't know about that. Can't get him, but he's clearly a defensive-minded player. A generational talent. Archie Hanna, second baseman, 99 potential. Okay, so there's our second generational player of the draft, or of the rebuild, which of course wasn't even an opportunity for us. We've got Sonny Ward, who's got 89 potential. Nope. 2 generational players in this draft. Come on, man. Really? It's a two-way player. The hitting stats don't look that great, right? Like, they look terrible, but he is a two-way generational player. Ugh, okay. Well, Louis Cross for the Athletics. Generational talent. Unfortunate that we haven't gotten one. We did have De La Cruz, though, so at least we got a crazy good player available for us to draft. So, I mean, I can't complain too much. And I just... Can I get... I'm noticing, like, we're really not getting, like, crazy players available for us, right? Like, this isn't even, like... Where is he? Like, can I get a Jackie Fuller? Like, one more De La Rosa? Did I say De La Cruz earlier? I meant De La Rosa. No, I think I said De La Rosa. Like, I need another De La Rosa. You know? Like, Tom Chen is cool. He doesn't look bad at all. But at the same time, we really haven't had a standout player. We've had one standout player out of, like, the 50 that we've had. Martin looks okay. C potential is a little unfortunate, but I'll take it. The catcher, B potential, looks like a guy who can help us out at third or catcher. We don't really need a catcher, so he's probably going to be third, maybe a DH. So we've got that going for us. We've got Hand, who's got B potential. Looks like a guy could help us out fairly soon. We've got Coronado, who looks okay. I might turn him into a closer and see how that goes. We're going to have Uribe, who's got D potential at 64. He was a guess anyways, so it's not the worst thing. I do want to see... Is there anybody that we could maybe turn into, like, a reliever here? Maybe someone that's got low stamina. Like, how Salazar developing pretty well, but I think that might be it. So maybe not. I think the only one I would consider would be Dorta, because he's losing stamina currently, and I think he might be one that could be a decent reliever. So you know what? Maybe we do something where we make him a reliever right off the rip and just go something like that. See how it goes. His clutch is at 55. So maybe something like this and see how that goes for the rest of the year. And do we call up anybody? Maybe Marte gets called up. He's not doing great. Let's let Dorta keep pitching. We'll leave it there. That's the draft. It wasn't terrible, but it definitely was our worst one so far. So 30 wins, honestly, not too bad considering we had 9 last year. Pretty big jump up. We do have a league leader, and that was strikeouts and home runs. Okay. Let's take a look at the awards really quickly. Devers won MVP. We've got Owen Casey on the other side winning MVP with Corbin Carroll and James Wood. Peralta winning MVP with the Pirates, looks a little or Cy Young with the Pirates looks a little strange. George Kirby with the Guardians. We've got Cuero and Yelich batting title winners. Reliever of the year goes to Edwin Diaz, now a Cardinal. Okay, Matt Brash now a Guardian. Guardians are getting a lot of moves. And rookie of the year goes to Bryce Eldridge, now with the Rays. What are all these moves? Was this how the Giants got Yandy Diaz? Has to have been. And then Jeremy Conley won Rookie of the Year on the NL side. Okay, let's take a look at our team and see how things went. So Pruitt, see potential still. Developing almost a 70 overall, improved. So I'm pretty happy with that. He did pitch 161 innings. So, I mean, that's quite a bit. It's quite a bit for sure. Ordonez also improved. He's up to an 82 overall. Good to see. Matos still got that P potential after last year, 71 overall, and hey, sub 4 ERA. Love to see it. Pitchers, Maravilla improved, which is huge. It pitched more innings too. We've got Domingo, who had 261 strikeouts. I mean, his Ks per 9 is 98. So I mean, it's good to see. It's just the ERA and the whip's a little high. And then Dorta, not too bad. I wonder what the FIP's looking like for these guys, just because his ERA and FIP really weren't too. I mean, a 0.5 is kind of a big difference, a huge difference, almost a whole point for ERA to FIP. So defense is probably not helping out the team too much. I mean, that's definitely something we got to keep in mind. Carlos Diaz is up to a 77. We've got Steven Munoz, who's up to a 76, who looks pretty good. And then Marte looks pretty decent at a 76 as well. Soto up to a 74, and David Ju up to a 72. So, I mean, that's what you want to see from your pitchers. None of these guys are part of our squad. Marte, 65 overall. Love to see that. And then Chambers, 74. Is he ready for the call-up? Maybe. Let's take a look here. Samuel's up to a 71, 69 for Muriel, 69 for Casilla. Irisari looks okay-ish. Okay, I mean, we'll see. Encarnacion's up to a 63, some pretty decent growth. Would have liked to see the contact go up a little bit more, though. Plus 10 for Oka is huge. I mean, he looks like he's just going to be a lefty specialist, which is not a bad thing. We can always rock a platoon. Santiago's up to a 70. Honestly, he might be a guy that we need to get into the lineup next year. And then Castellano at a 66. Defensively, he looks amazing, though. So we might have to, just because of the way the rest of the team is, having a guy that is pretty good at defense might not be the worst thing at one of these positions. So Carrasco, got worse. Not what you want to see. -7. So maybe Castillo comes up and plays second base for us. It's not like he's that much worse hitting wise. I mean, like, what are we at? 62, and then everything else is under 50. I mean, it's not that much different. We might just call up Castellano and let him play second base for us next year. Domingo, pretty similar stat line, maybe a little less slugging, which, I mean, it's fine. He's not really the greatest of hitters. We've got Hearn, who improved. What improved here? His on-base percentage by quite a bit. That's big. Even though he didn't really go crazy. I mean, -4 versus lefties is not great. Devin McGee, how we looking? Got worse. He's definitely more of a defensive first guy. Castilla's up to a 70, some decent growth, and pretty big improvements offensively. 20 home runs, 29 doubles, strikeouts went down, RBIs went up. Okay, I'll take that. Gus Hudson, not a bad first season with a 360 on base percentage. Decent hitting stats too. De La Rosa is 99 plus. His power is almost maxed out. He had 95 potential. He had a crazy season. He got a silver slugger and he was a home run champion. He was also an all-star. He wasn't even in the race for the MVP. Metler, how we look? I'm flabbergasted. Metler's up to an 87. he improved. He basically stayed about the same, a little less slugging, and then Olivo still decent on base percentage, and numbers went up: a slugging, OPS, and average. So I'm liking what I'm seeing. Anybody else win an award? Maybe we do. McGee won the Gold Glove. We knew that. We knew that. And ooh, he also has a quirk. Stopper. Does anybody else have a quirk on this team? A night player for Carrasco. I think that's it, right? I think we've seen everybody. Okay, maybe a pitcher. Does any of our pitchers have quirks? At least the ones in the majors. Let's see here. All-star appearance for Matos? Okay, I'll take that. And I don't think any of these guys are going to have any quirks. Oh, we do actually have a couple quirks for these pitchers, which, okay, I'll take that. I'll take that. That's good to know. That's good to know. Anybody over here? We've got pickoff artist. All right, I'll take that, I guess. But hey, small improvements. Let's see who wins the World Series this year, and then of course repeat the process. The Guardians seem to have a nasty team if they're always in the World Series. Let's take a look and see what that's like. So we've got J-Ram, Juan Brito, Soto, DeLauder. Okay, offensively that's kind of, besides Soto, everybody else is already in the farm system, right? I don't know about Jake Fox, but I believe everybody else is a Guardian. And then pitching wise, okay, I did not draft this guy. That's a little unfortunate that we don't have him in our team. But yeah, I mean, their bullpen looks good. Their starters look good. They've got Scooble somehow. I mean, that's a crazy squad. They beat the Nationals in the World Series. We got some work to do. Alrighty, so season seven. I believe this is 7. I've started to lose count. I've had to record on multiple days. It's all a blur to me. But either way, this is the team now. This is what we're rocking with. Carlos Diaz did have a couple games last year, 30 innings. It looks like he was like a September call-up potentially. Same thing with Steven Munoz and Carlos Diaz. So both of them, Diaz was actually pretty good. So that's good to see. And then the bullpen currently looks like this. So I feel good. Dorta, I think, is definitely a bullpen arm for us. The stamina's a little low, and the rest of the attributes are a little hit or miss. So I feel like we'll leave him in the bullpen, see how that goes. Jason Chambers and potentially Soto, Hand, and Ju could potentially get called up this year. So we'll have to wait and see. Possibly Marte as well, 65 overall. He's looking pretty decent. Maybe next year for Marte, just based on the per nines not being in the 60s yet, but I'm feeling pretty good about it. Henry Dell was somebody I just signed to fill out the roster though. Lineup wise, we do have a couple prospects. You know, obviously the catcher here looks pretty good. He might actually be a AAA player before too long. And then of course our lineups currently like this. We're close to getting all 3 of our 90 rated players with Metler, De La Rosa, and also Domingo. He's actually not too far off at 85. The issue is those rookie of the years. De La Rosa didn't win it, and we're gonna need a crazy season from somebody to get it, because like if you look at some of these other players, there's generational talents out there. There's currently players who haven't made their debut with other teams, like real life prospects that could potentially get into the mix too. So like we really need luck on our side, because I'm starting to worry that we're not going to get those rookie of the years to beat that challenge for this rebuild. I'm not worried about the overall ratings. We're definitely going to make that, but man, those rookie of the years might be tough. So let's get to this draft. Let's see if we can get something kind of crazy to help us out, and let's go from there. So we're in the draft. We have the number 1 pick. Finally, it took forever, and I'm thinking we're going not with the shortstop. I was kind of checking to see who I have interest in, and the number 1 player according to our scouts is a reliever, and I'm not going to use my first overall pick on a reliever, even though he looks amazing. I am going to use it on a starting pitcher though, and that's just because they're clearly the best players that I can get. Steve Ramirez doesn't look bad. I think he is not going to be the option though. Yokoyama is kind of, the more I look at his attributes, the more I go, he actually looks pretty good. He actually looks pretty good, and I am considering him. I'm not looking at Richard Tan because of the current injured status, whichever you prefer. Gil Bautista looks good. He is actually someone that I'm considering pretty highly. I like the looks of his per nines right now and also in the future. Eli Collado looks good too, but the per nines look a little bit lower, so I feel like I'm gonna pass on him. He's kind of at the lower end of the list of current interest. And then we have Edgar Rosario, who also looks pretty good. It's just the walks per 9 and hits per 9 being a little bit low. I think again he's kind of towards the bottom of my list. So right now I'm looking at Bautista or Yokoyama, and I think I'm gonna go Bautista. And the reason I'm going to do that is because his control is really high. Yes, the walks per nine is a little bit low. Yes, the home runs per nine is a little bit low. But I just like the control being a little bit higher for Yokoyama, or for Batista compared to Yokoyama. I just feel like also in the future, Batista projects a little bit better. So I think, yeah, I'm going to go Batista. Heel Batista is going to be my number 1 pick. And we're going to start the draft. And that's who I'm going to go with. The number 6 overall player, according to our scouts, Heel Batista, now is a Blue Jay. Number 2 is Alex Ordonez. And number 3, I totally missed what team this was. It is going to be Bruno Segura, which is one of the players that we could have drafted, but I really wasn't interested in what he looked like. So next round, the reliever's available. I'm not even going to hesitate. We're taking the reliever, the number 1 player, according to our scouts, was still on the board. We're going to go with him. Pick number 3. Oh, what pick is this? Number 77. I kind of feel like I want to reach here, which sounds dumb. Those hitting stats look atrocious, but I kind of want someone that looks like they might be able to hit a little bit. And I feel like we kind of need that. And I don't know who this is going to be. Montalvo looks pretty good. MLB has him at 128 and we have him at 106. Is he going to make it to us in the next round? I'm going to test it. And then I'm trying to see if we have anybody else. He looks fine. Nothing too crazy. I'll throw him on the list for now. I'll throw this guy on the list if he makes it a little bit later. And it actually took Montalvo because I forgot that this pick was a minute long. So I definitely missed out on someone else that I could have gotten, which is okay. There's still definitely some really good pitchers. There's some really good pitchers available. There's actually, 3? Reed, Irabu, and Montano. Do I take one of them here in the 4th round? I probably should, huh? Maybe Irabu. Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna take Irabu here in the 4th round. I feel like that's pretty good value there at the 4th round. And then I think now we just kind of see what's available hitting wise. So these 2 are still here. Anybody else? I mean, this guy looks like he might be okay hitting wise. I just don't know about the how much potential he's gonna have. There's no way. I think I'm gonna take another pitcher. I mean, they're there for. I might as well take him. Who's got the better control? Steven. We got another Steven on the team, and then we're gonna finish it out with Robbie Reed. That's the draft. All right, so let's see. How did we do here? Pretty good. Montalvo was a little bit of a reach, definitely a little bit of a reach, but I like those hitting stats. I definitely like those hitting stats. So this is a guy that could, yeah, the overall's not great because of the fielding and the speed, but this is a guy that could help us out within a season or 2 with those hitting stats. So I think that's okay. We kind of need these players anyways. They may suck in the field. They may not be amazing long term, but at least they can help us out because we're going to need offense at some point, right? We need to score runs to win. But I mean, 89 potential for Batista. Yeah, the walks per 9 is pretty low, but I like every other per 9 there. I think that looks pretty great. Franco or Frank, it's Franco. He's Mexican. I mean, those per 9s look amazing as well. We've got Montalvo, who we already talked about. Irabu out of Japan looks okay. Honestly, doesn't look too bad at all. Ooh, control's a little low, but overall not bad. Steven Montano, definitely a project, and then Robbie Reed, also a little bit of a project. But for the most part, I'm pretty happy with the draft that we had. So let me see if there's a generational talent, which probably gonna be. Here's Edgar Rosario. He was 63 overall. Here's Eli Collado. He's 66 overall. Those per 9s though look a little low. Here's Steve Ramirez. He actually looks pretty well rounded. This could have been a really solid pick for us if we would have went down that route. This is the first time I've seen this name, Doug Lakdawala from New York. Okay, for sure. For sure. I'm trying to see if there's anybody else that really stands out. Okay, he was the 2nd pick. He looks pretty good. We've got Brian K. Oh man, the Brewers had a draft, man. What is that? That is crazy. Portillo was a guy that we could have drafted. I just didn't like the looks of his hitting stats, so I kind of passed on him. Let's see, 60 overall for him. He looks pretty decent. Yokoyama, 87 potential. He does look good, but I'm pretty happy with the pick that we went with instead. And I think, the injury really killed Richard Tan down to a 79 potential. Whew. And he's not generational, but he's close. John Jimenez out of Hawaii looks great. Looks great. This is the second Hawaiian player with crazy high potential. I don't think the Athletics took the other one, but yeah, he looks pretty good. But for the most part, I'm pretty happy with our picks. I think that's kind of covers them all. I'm pretty happy. I feel like Franco's good. I feel like Bautista's pretty good. I think this Montalvo guy is going to be a pretty handy bench bat or even like a DH for us. So I'm pretty happy with what we did this draft. In surprising news, we finished with 66 wins. I was not expecting that at all. Like, that's crazy. We have an award and a league leader. Okay, so we had the most strikeouts with Domingo. He has like 99 Ks per 9. That makes sense. Like, that's perfectly fine. What is the award? What is the award? What is the award? What is the award? Did we finish as the last place team, though? We did not. Whoa, the Tigers and the Astros were worse than us. And the Nationals. What? What team are we? The Blue Jays. What batting average did we finish with? 17th best batting average. The 26th most runs. Home runs, we were last. Understandable. What about pitching? How we look at pitching wise? We weren't last there. The Brewers were. Wow, we really made a jump this year. We really made a jump from 9 wins to 30 wins to what, 66 wins? Okay, so we're not going to have the best odds for the number 1 pick. And I mean, I guess I could have totally service manipulated like every player in this team. But the thing is, we do have a little bit of an issue. De La Rosa is regressing. He was down to like a 97 at one point. So for him to get back up to a 98 is huge. Let's see, what is our award? Rookie of the Year, Adrian Santiago. That is huge for us. Check one off the board. We are one away from that category. We are finishing that challenge, which is huge. Emmanuel Rodriguez for the Twins, 50 home runs, MVP, 43 for Owen Casey, back-to-back MVPs for him. Tink Hentz and Yuri Perez, Cy Young winners. Soto, along with Drew Gilbert, batting title winners. Carson Palmquist, reliever of the year, along with Jose Suarez. Apparently, there was only 2 relievers eligible for the award, and then Santiago beat out Bolt and Andres Capillo. I will take that. 285 average, 22 home runs, 5 triples, 44 doubles, almost 100 RBIs, 23 stolen bases. That is a great season. He was a DH, so I'm assuming 2.8 WAR is not bad. 2.8 WAR is not bad at all. Let's see the attributes. He's looking pretty good. Any quirks, any awards? An all-star this year. He was an all-star this year. And Drew Jones won it on the other side. Fletcher McKinney, I believe, is a generational talent. He finished second in the MVP or the Rookie of the Year race. So as you can see, currently rocking a full starting rotation and bullpen now. I did get the call-ups for Casilla and Soto, Gabriel Soto. So we have those guys in the mix, which in hindsight, probably a really stupid decision because I could have used them next year to try to put them in the Rookie of the Year race. So yeah, there's that, because offensively we don't have anybody that could step in immediately. Like maybe this guy, but even still, he's not close to being ready. Definitely not going to be winning any offensive awards for him. And Oka's not going to win any awards. He even got worse versus lefties, which was like his specialty. We've got Chen, who that's not good. And then Raul Encarnacion, at least he a little growth there. That's pretty good. Outside of that, yeah, we're looking a little sus. Here's our backup catcher, or like our third string catcher, we'll say. But let's take a look at pitching. Let's see how we did as a squad. So Casilla came up 18 games, just shy of 50 innings. He was fine. Nothing too crazy. He'll get better. Johnny Pruitt got worse this year, which is super disappointing, especially when he had a pretty decent season last year. Ordonez, yikes. I need him to get better. We've got Dorta, who had a 5 ERA, but as you can see, we kind of moved him into that not starter role. So he'll get better. I have faith. 6 ERA from our VA, who is now going to be a reliever. I just feel like this is going to be his spot for him with those per 9s. I just don't want him pitching a lot, even though he still pitched 135 innings. Matos, probably our best reliever by far. I mean, he's got a 3.18 ERA. Are you serious? Was no all-star appearance this year. He's pretty good though. And then Jason Chambers as our closer. Realistically, I should probably go Matos there, right? Yeah, and then just see how it goes from there. Domingo up to an 88. Mixed bag of results, but more strikeouts, which is understandable. He's got the highest K per 9 possible, 88 overall. Soto with a 3.5 ERA and a 1.17 whip, just over 70 innings, was pretty good. Pretty good. 11 starts, 6-3 with 7 quality starts. I will take that all day. Marte, 4.49 ERA. It's not terrible. Not terrible. Estevan Munoz, 4.39 ERA. Again, not bad. Like, these are decent results for these types of players that, you know, clearly have some holes in their game and are only going to get better. Next up, we've got David Jew, we've got Rolando Hand, and then we've got Jeff Samuels, all slowly progressing, which is what I like to see. I'll show you my pitching coach. I'm not going to be able to show you my pitching coach, actually. I made sure, like, my manager had pitching attribute boosts. I made sure my pitching coach was really good. I'm making sure my farm director had pitching attribute boosts. I want my pitchers to be good because I just know offensively we'll see some production. So for the most part, we're looking good. I'm feeling pretty confident in the team. We just doubled our win total. Like, we're moving on up pretty quickly. So Mets defeat the Guardians. What's the Mets lineup looking like? What do we got going on here? It looks like just all their, besides Chas McCormick and Sean Murphy, it just looks like their farm system has finally graduated, and just some interesting pitchers. Jackson Ferris of the formerly of the Cubs, now of the Dodgers. So Christian Scott, a couple others. Okay, little mixed bag of players from all over the league. There's that. All right, my manager and my director have. Oh no, that's not good. Speaking of the two guys that I was making sure had good pitching attributes. There we go. So Mike Trout retires with 550 home runs. I think Altuve has, a couple pitchers have, but Mike Trout's probably the most known player. There we go. I think that's it. I'm feeling good about this team. We're looking good. Just had our first rookie of the year. Have 290 overall players, by the way. I totally forgot to look at how the offense did. We talked about the pitching. We didn't even really talk about the offense. Ronald Olivo. Have I been calling Rolando? Ronald Olivo, here we are, just shy of an 800 OPS, easily his best season. Love to see that. Santiago, rookie of the year, love it. Cesar De La Rosa went down to a 97, still put up 36 home runs. I'm okay with that. Mike Metler, 90 with 32 home runs, our second 90 overall player. Domingo should hit 90 next year, so we can check off that challenge. We just need the World Series, the rookie of the year, and that 190 overall player. Gus Hudson, 70 overall, easily his best season. He's still improving attributes wise. Looks pretty good. 99 durability is huge too. We've got Rich Castilla, who, hey, improvements. That's what I'm looking for with this team. We've got Nate Hearn, who also is improving. 32 doubles, 10 home runs, plus 11 versus righties. I'll take that. Carrasco, still improving. Love to see that. Small improvements for him. We've got Devin McGee. Again, he's just going to be a glove first guy, so I'm not expecting too much from him, and realistically he could get replaced at any time. So for the most part, team's looking good. What is this now? Let's get to season 8. Alrighty, season 8 time, and I've made a couple changes, and that is Dorta is now a closer along with Maravilla, and that's just because I figured we're going to make them relievers anyways. Let's put them as relievers. I just felt like that was the move rather than them just staying as pitchers. Plus, it also lowers their overall, so they should have a little bit more room to grow. Outside of that, the team's basically the same. I'm not going to really change up too much. I feel like the team's in a good spot, and I'm also hoping that if I get the pitchers high enough rated before I get them in the major leagues, then we have a chance of them becoming rookie of the years. And also because I don't really have an offensive player who I think could win who could win rookie of the year right now. Maybe Amoros, but even then I still don't have faith in it. So yeah, unless we get a crazy draft pick, I don't really know if we're gonna get that rookie of the year challenge done. That's gonna be the tough one. So we're getting to the draft, and I believe we have the 4th pick this year. We weren't the worst team in baseball, and obviously we're going to have a little bit lower odds of getting the number 1 pick. This year, we got the 4th pick, and we were actually the 4th worst team last year. So I think this is kind of how it was standing-wise last year. But yeah, 4th pick anyways, and let's talk about the players that I want. Really quickly, I'll just show you the players that I'm looking at a little bit later in the draft. And I'm really just looking at them because they have good hitting stats, like Billy Belliard. We've got Felix Hernandez, who's got that power, not the pitcher, just an offensive player this time. We've got Eric Metler, who also has some pretty good hitting stats, and then some relievers that we could potentially pick up later on in the draft. And then these guys are potentially my first pick, depending on how those first 3 picks go in the draft. We've got Martin Perez. No, not the Pirates pitcher. This one is from Puerto Rico and is 18 years old. A lefty. Is Martin Perez a lefty? He is. Yeah, so there it is. Is is Martin Perez from Puerto Rico? He's from Venezuela. All right, well, there's the difference. Anyways, he looks good. Strikeouts are a little low, home runs are a little low, but overall, I think he looks like a pretty good pitcher to draft. We've also got Alberto Sierra, who I think is probably, if I was ranking them, he would actually probably be below Martin Perez, just because the per nines look a little bit lower. The overall looks like he's going to be a little bit lower, but the potential is probably the best out of any of the pitchers that we're looking at. And Edmundo Gutierrez, again, just looks okay, looks well-rounded. You know, the hits are a little bit low, the home runs are a little bit low, so realistically I'm probably ranking him a little bit more than Martin Perez. And then we have Bobby Turner, who I think looks very similar to Martin Perez. I think they both look like very good pitchers, but probably the same ranking as Martin Perez. I'm kind of looking at these two going, okay, but the guy that I'm kind of sold on right now is the Canadian John Allen, who just looks good. The control's a little low, which does worry me, but everything else looks fantastic. He looks like a guy that's going to have a little bit higher overall than the other 2 guys as well, which I like. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for guys that can step into the team very quickly. Good stamina, hits per 9, strikeouts per 9. The projections for the future also look great. He's honestly got a really good pitch mix too. I think this is going to be our pick as long as he's not taken. So the first pick is a pitcher, because I see the jacket. Please don't be who I want. It's going to be John Knotts. So there we go. We avoided one team picking our player. Number 2 is going to be Teddy. Yeah, Teddy. So Teddy got chosen number 2, and number 3 is the Tigers. They're going to take Bobby Turner, so that actually takes one of the pitchers that we were considering off the board. But like I said, John Allen is going to be a Toronto Blue Jay. That's the pick. For the next pick, I don't really know who I'm going to take here. Actually, I'm going to quickly see if I have anybody that ooh, that 86 max potential, though. That makes me think he's not going to be in the 80s potential-wise. The hitting stats don't look terrible, though. I still think I'm going to take... I just really don't like any of the position players that I scouted this year, or like even had in the player pool. Like, this guy's not going to be high rated. This guy's hitting stats don't look like they're going to be great in the future. So I'm looking at the other guys that I have on my board. These guys look like they can be round 3 and later picks. So what I'm going to do here is I'm actually going to take someone that wasn't on my board, and it's going to be a reliever here in Peter Campos. And I was looking at other players. This guy's injured. I think this guy probably is a little bit higher rated. Potential is probably going to be a pretty low. Same thing with this one. Same thing with this one. So I think I'm gonna gamble and see if Sierra makes it to the later rounds. And I'm gonna take Peter Campos. Yeah, the per nines don't look amazing, but I think he's got some decent potential. It's always good to have some bullpen help too. So I know it's another reliever. We're not necessarily getting that offensive help that we need, but we're getting some players. And we actually lost somebody that was on our board, and I don't remember who was it. Who did I lose? I really don't have too much time to really look at this. Was it Wang? Was that who I had on my board? It doesn't really matter. I don't have much time left, so I think I'm going to take one of these position players here. What pick is this? 80? I think I'm going to take Metler. I really like those hitting stats. Those look really good. I think it's going to be him. Belliard's ranked 125, and we have 110 next. So I think I'm going to take my chance. I'm going to go Metler here. I like those hitting stats. We need some good hitters. Round 4, all of our players are still available here. I think I'm going to take Belliard. What's Chavez ranked? 170? What's our next pick? 140? I think I'm going to take Belliard. Again, we need offensive help. I know the potential doesn't look great, and I know the potential didn't look great for Metler either. Both of them were in the low 80s. But again, they're going to probably not have the best fielding, as you can see, not the best speed. So I know that their hitting stats should be a little bit higher. And because of that, also their overalls are going to be a little bit lower. So they're still going to have room to grow. Plus, I don't really care about the fielding. I just want to score some runs. Billy Belliard now is a Blue Jay. 4th round pick. I think we go with another reliever here. This guy doesn't look bad. It just looks like I like the reliever better. That potential looks nice. Yes, he's going to be a little bit lower rated, but those per nines are almost all in the 50s. Why is he ranked so low? I mean, like 50s per nines like aren't great, but like as a reliever, they start getting into the 60s. That's still not bad. I think I'm going to take Chavez here. I'm getting really greedy and hoping that Sierra makes it to the final round. I mean, that's a draft right there. All right, so we're at the day where we see our draft picks, and let me show you the calendar real quick. We beat Oakland to start the month, but look at this little end to the month here against the Angels. We swept the Angels. We won one against the Orioles. We had a couple wins against, one against the Giants, the Cardinals. We took the series. We swept the Guardians. We took the series against the Astros, against the Nationals. We are almost a 500 team, and looking at our squad, the only thing that looks good is pitching, which we are ranked 6th. How are we doing this already? I mean, even looking at the pitching, okay, like the outcomes aren't great, but like some 4 ERAs, a 3.5 for Domingo, which is crazy. He's a 90, by the way. But like Pruitt's looking great. Ordonez is fine. Dorta's okay. Maravilla. You got Chambers who's struggling a little bit, so I might actually go with Pruitt there. Matos looks like he's going to be a great reliever for us. Look at the farm system with our pitchers down there. We also have the AA guys developing, but pitching honestly doesn't look that bad. The ratings are looking good, and offensively, I mean, 300 for almost our first 3. Metler's hitting 280. We got Hudson. Nate Hearn, low key, kind of nice. And you look at his hitting stats, they aren't that crazy. So how are we doing this? Castillo's hitting 200, Castellanos hitting 200, 218. Okay, not great. Okay, Chen's hitting 280. That's good to see. 290 for Montalvo, which I kind of figured he'd be like a good hitter anyways. And Encarnacion, not so much. But we're not here for those guys. We're here to see how we did in the draft. Okay, you know what? 94 potential for John Allen. He's up to a 73. I like his per nines, good hits, Ks, and walks. Control's a little low, but honestly, with those per nines, I'm feeling pretty good about it. 84 potential for Campos, who's a 54. Iffy per nines, I don't hate them. Metler's a 65, but I really like the clutch, the contact, the hitting stats. Decent arm, decent speed. I think he's a good player for us. I think that works out. He looks like a Belliard, looks like a slightly worse version of Metler. So we got two Dutch players this draft, but Belliard not as fast, but better arm, I would say, and slightly worse hitting. I'm okay with that too. Chavez, B potential, 56 overall, looks pretty solid, and then Sierra, 59 overall, definitely a project, but I still like the draft that we did. 290 potential players, a couple guys that can help us out, especially some good hitting stats. I like that. They basically look like Olivo. Maybe a little less bunting, but like the vision, the discipline, the clutch, the good contact. I don't have to hit 47 home runs. I just need to get on base and score runs. Plus, we've got De La Rosa and Metler who are doing well. So I'm liking what I'm seeing here. I don't think we have anybody in the race for Rookie of the Year. We shouldn't, at least this year. But I'm liking what I'm seeing. I doubt we're in the race for a wild card spot. 6.5. We'll see what happens. I mean, I've seen crazier things. I doubt we make the postseason, but let's finish off the year. So 78 and 84 wasn't a 500 season. Whew, hold on. Wasn't a 500 season, but we're improving, and we're actually improving by quite a bit. Like last year, we jumped from a 30-win team to a 66-win team. This time we're up to 78 wins, and we're definitely not the worst team. We've got 3 teams under us there. And we got 4 teams there. I mean, we're starting to move up the ladder here, the pyramid. We've got a couple league leaders. 300 strikeouts. That's crazy numbers. De La Rosa with the most home runs and RBIs, which is huge. I like to see that. 300 strikeouts. I'm actually interested to see. I'm just gonna jump over there and see where that kind of leaves him. Like Mizraski had 277, Skeens with 258. And if we look at our 311 and it drops down to 264, like that's a big drop off. Even 277, that's a big drop off. What about the awards? We have a Cy Young, we have a couple Gold Gloves actually, and we have an MVP. So I can't get a rookie of the year. I've had one rookie of the year. That was the whole challenge. I'm thinking we're going to draft some really good players. And instead, you know what? We're getting MVPs. We're getting Cy Youngs. We're getting crazy gold gloves. What was that? How many gold gloves did we just get? 4? So it was McGee got one. This is his second, which is pretty good. We had another with De La Rosa at first, who's got 72 fielding. Okay, that's a little bit better than I thought, actually. But look at this. Look at his trophy cabinet's filling up. 2 gold gloves, 2 home run champs. He's got 3 all-star appearances, an all-star MVP, 3 silver sluggers, and he just won his first MVP. And then we also had the catcher, Mike Metler, who won his second gold glove as well. So defensively, honestly, we're not that bad of a team. At least like three positions, we're not that bad of a team. So anyways, De La Rosa, MVP, beating out Marcelo Meyer and Roman Anthony. Wyatt Langford on the other side, who is now a Cardinal. Cade Horton, Cy Young winner, along with Domingo, who I don't know about that. But anyways, Yordan Alvarez and Adael Amador batting title winners. You've got Evan Phillips along with Adrian Morejon. And then rookie of the year goes to Kalai Rosario and Joaquin Quevedo. So now let's go see what this team's looking like. So Casilla, 4.5 or 4.8 ERA. You know what? Better improvements. That's what I like to see. He's up to a 77. Love it. 4.8 ERA for Chambers. At least it was an improvement. 29 holds, couple blown saves, but it's improving. I'm liking it, loving it. Ordonez kind of sucked, but again, slight improvement. Like, what's the issue with him? Maybe the hits per 9? He is allowing a lot of hits. Seems to be an issue there. Seems to be an issue for sure. We've got Dorta, who, okay, halved his innings, but at least he's doing better. I like that for sure. Maravilla is backed up to A potential with the 4 ERA, 1.3 whip. Pruitt, 3.3 ERA. I like that. Probably not going to develop too much more, though. So that could be an issue. And then Matos with the B potential, 3 ERA. Was 41 saves with 8 blown saves. So 8 blown saves is kind of tough, but hey, I will take 41 saves for sure. I guess we shouldn't freak out too much. We do have Marte. We do have Martin. We just drafted a reliever as well. We do have Franco, who we drafted last year, I believe it was. And he looks like he had some pretty decent growth, especially in the hits per 9, which is awesome to see. Couple decent looking pitchers here. We've got an 80 in David Jew in AAA, 78 for Hand. So that's solid. Like, we've definitely got a couple guys that could come up next year if need be. And we do have options on a couple of these pitchers. Or most of them, actually. So like we could send one down and call up another if need be. We don't have to worry about losing players on the waiver wire. Domingo, he does have a 4 ERA, but honestly, he's pitching fairly well. Let's take a look at what his FIP's at. It is a 3.3. So there's a little bit of a difference there. So maybe the fielding does take a little bit of a it is kind of impacting our pitchers. You know, 3.8 for Soto, but a 4.34 ERA. Marte's potential went down. That's tough, but that's okay. Like, we could work with that. We could hold on. Marte, 76 stamina. He's 81 overall, so he probably still has some room to grow. We could also just turn him into a reliever, a long reliever, because Casilla could also move into the rotation if need be. Steven Munoz was fine, wasn't too crazy, but he was fine. And then Carlos Diaz, also pretty good. So again, we could send somebody down, like Marte could be sent down or turned into a reliever, and then we could call up David Jew or Rolando Hand. So again, I'm not freaking out too much about the pitching. Obviously, we didn't call up anybody for the bench, but really quickly, 72 overall for Castellano. I think he's just going to be a bench guy for us. 74 here, 67 for Domingo. We've got Oka, whose potential went down. That's tough. Chen went up to a 69. Nice. I like that. Like to see that. And then Raul Encarnacion is up to a 70. Just well-rounded hitting stats. But I would like to see it. Just keep improving. I like that they're well-rounded. He should be a good hitter moving forward. Let's take a look at our offense really quick. Olivo, 46 doubles, almost a 400 on base percentage. Love to see that. Still no award or anything, which is I guess makes sense. He's not really doing anything. I mean, 300 average, almost a 400 on base percentage. Silver slugger maybe, but he's not really hitting home runs. But good stolen bases. He's just like a very solid player. He's giving me like Steven Kwan vibes, but Steven Kwan hits like 400 nowadays. Santiago, 300 average, good on base percentage, good OPS, couple home runs. Still nothing since that Rookie of the Year. De La Rosa was the MVP. I mean, he's racking up those accolades. Metler, Gold Glove specialist, 2 of them so far, back-to-back years, and also just a great season for a catcher. You've got Gil Hudson, who is getting on base, just not really supplying too much power, which makes sense. He doesn't have too much power. An award, all-star appearance, like to see that. I guess we would have noticed that last year. Castilla's okay at short. He's fine. Nate Hearn, yeah, I said he's kind of underrated. He's really not doing much, huh? Carrasco also not really doing much. And McGee, he's winning the Gold Gloves, and I'm okay with that. We just need to find maybe a new infielder, and I think that's where Belliard and Metler, the 2 guys that we just drafted, come into place, because like this guy could potentially play third, but he's not really hitting well. He's whatever. And Chen and Encarnacion are both outfielders, and so is Montalvo. So it's like, yeah, we've got the outfield covered. We just kind of need some help on the infield. And I don't think, yeah, none of these guys. I mean, like Olivo, we've got first base covered. We need like a second or third baseman, which we did draft. So we'll have to wait and see how that goes. So postseason time, who is your World Series winner? The Athletics? Who? Blair Kaminsky. Good Lord. Okay. Justin Crawford, Lirian. What? They do have this guy. Yeah, I know that. Is he playing offense at all? No, he's not, which understandable. He doesn't have the greatest hitting stats, the 2-way generational talent, but okay. The Athletics are your World Series winners. Season 8 in the books. We're getting close. We weren't too far off of a wild card spot, which is encouraging. Freddie Freeman retires as a Hall of Fame inductee with the Braves, and I guess we bring this guy back. Let's just offer him a contract. We shouldn't need anybody. Ooh, a hitting coach and a first base coach. Okay. I mean, we're not doing anything in free agency, so let's get to season 9. So I just realized that Jeff Samuels got taken in the Rule 5 draft by the Astros, and I'm pissed because he wasn't in the area for top players to add onto the 40-man. Because it only showed me a bunch of Joe randoms, and now I just lost out on like one of my best pitching prospects, which could easily help us out because he looks very similar to a couple of these guys that we have in the rotation. He can help us out in the bullpen. He can help us out in the rotation. We need the pitching depth. So I think I have to make a trade to get him back. And I know I said I wouldn't make trades, but I'm just annoyed that like the add to 40-man screen doesn't show you all the players that you could lose out. And why wouldn't it show me the highest rated player that I am going to lose? Oh man. So yeah, I hate to do this, but I feel like why would it show me a bunch of like 30 overall players and not a 77 overall a potential pitcher that I need to add to my 40-man? That's really annoying. And now I'm kind of worried that I lost like some other guys in the 40-man draft. Did I lose anybody else? No, I just lost Jeff Samuels, it looks like. But now I clearly have to look at all my players to make sure that I don't lose anybody. And I'm going to make a trade. And I know you're going to be like, well, now you broke the rules. Well, I wish the game worked and told me that I was about to lose one of the top prospects in baseball who definitely could help us out somewhere in this team. So give me Jeff Samuels back. I'm going to give you a pitcher that I'm not going to use in Coronado, and also a second baseman in Castellano who I'm not going to use, and give me back my pitcher. And you're going to be like, you cheated. That's fine. I need Jeff Samuels back into this team, and I'm just going to, he's a Rule 5 pick, so he's actually going to have to play this year, which is fine. I'm not going to make any other moves. Like that's fine. And I also traded for a player that I drafted with players that I drafted. So did I even acquire a different player? No. If anything, I hurt myself because now I'm missing 2 players that I could use in this rebuild. Oh man, this game is so dumb sometimes. Like, why would it not show me the highest rated player that I could lose in the Rule 5 draft? Why are you showing me a bunch of 30 overall players that I don't care about. Makes no sense at all. Good Lord, get through all these arbitration updates. Get me to the new season. And good Lord, I can't believe that just happened. So with that in mind now, I think who do we send down? Who lost potential? Was it Marte? It was Marte. So what I'm thinking here is I'm going to clean this up. I got a couple ideas. All right, so offensively, team's going to stay the same. Obviously, we've got a couple players on the squad still that are working their way through the minor leagues. And then we got a couple players on waivers. So they'll join either AA or AAA once they move through that process. Pitching-wise, I've changed a couple things. Obviously, Jeff Samuels has to start for us in the major leagues. So with that in mind, this is currently what the team's looking like, right? So the one player that got sent down was Marte. Now we're a reliever. And I changed a couple other guys. Like I changed Steven Montano down to a reliever. And you can just kind of see if they were a starter, they could potentially be a reliever now. I'm just starting to move some pieces around just to fill out the team. I'm feeling good pitching wise. And I know I'm going to draft pitchers moving forward. And you guys are going to be like, you need offense. I definitely do need offense. I know I do. I just really need some good players to generate in the pool. I just haven't had anybody that's like crazy good yet. And it's been a little bit of an issue. I've even been discovering up until like week 8, I'm like doing 2 weeks with the catcher, 2 weeks in the infield, 2 weeks in the outfield, 2 weeks for pitchers. Like I'm really trying to find some players, and it's just not giving me too many crazy ones. So hopefully this is the year. Season 9. Let's see what happens. Let's get to the draft. All right, draft time. As we head into it, we have pick number 9, I believe. I know we're falling down the pecking order for the draft picks. It is number 9. Let me show you the player pool that we had this draft. It wasn't great. As you can see, we start off with the 7th best player available, then the 20th, 24th, and it quickly drops off, like very quickly. Like the talent wasn't high for us that we had available. So it's either going to be Sandoval if he's available, but the bat doesn't look like it projects to be that great, or it's going to be Valdez, which I think he is going to be the number 1 choice for us as long as he is available. I'll leave it there. The other guys that we have that I've been looking at were just whoever looks like they can be MLB ready the quickest. And there's a couple guys that have some pretty decent bats that I think we can get a little bit later in the draft, like Tom Ye here. We've got Todd Fink, who also just looks like a really well-rounded player. We've got Hernandez here, who also looks like he's going to hit very well. Cantrell. We've got that's basically about it. So those are the kind of the guys I'm targeting. But essentially, I'm looking for MLB ready bats. So first pick with the Angels looks like it's going to be a pitcher. So that's good. I'm not really targeting any pitchers in this draft besides relievers. Second pick, I forgot who. Is this the Astros that has the second pick? It is. It's going to be Jonah Kennedy. Again, not a player that I'm targeting. And the third pick is the White Sox. Is that who it was? It is Alex Ramos, a player that we could have drafted, but not one that I was targeting. So boom, here we go. Anybody was taken? Nope, which means this guy here, Jimmy Valdez, the 24 ranked player according to our scouts. Just the best bat that we need. We need some bats. We have plenty of pitching depth. I'm not too worried about it. So Jimmy Valdez, welcome to the team. All right, so we do have the 31st pick for a prospect promotion incentive pick, which I think it's going to be Lauren Cantrell here out of Canada. Doesn't look like he's going to be a crazy good hitter or anything, but the potential's good. The overall looks okay. I think he should be a fine player. Like nothing too crazy, but I feel like he's just one of the better players available. So Cantrell, welcome to the Blue Jays. And third pick, I think I'm torn between these two here. Like Hernandez look like he's going to hit very well. But the thing is, we've also got Tom Ye here who looks very similar to what Hernandez is looking like. So I think we take the player with the better potential in Todd Fink. And then these guys here, maybe we see if we can get any of these guys later. And we'll go Fink. Just because like I'm looking at these two, I think Hernandez definitely does have the higher ceiling in terms of player. But I think Ye's got the vision, the discipline, the contact. I feel like if we can get him a little bit later, He's essentially just a Pedro Hernandez, but slightly worse. And Todd Fink has the potential to grow and potentially hit a little bit higher of a rating. So I'm going to go Todd Fink here with this pick. We're going to go to the next round. And Tom Ye is available. What's our next pick after this? 115. I don't know if he makes it that far. And these guys look like they're not really ranked, or they'll be a little bit, or they'll be available a little bit later. So I'm just kind of seeing if there's anybody else that like piques my interest. Willie Cairo, okay, not bad there. Rick Roberts, like I'm not really looking for starters with this draft. I'm not really looking for a guy that has terrible vision. And just kind of looking at it, I feel like Tom Ye makes the most sense here. I don't really want to gamble just yet, so I'm gonna go Tom Ye before time runs out. I know the potential is not the highest, but I think we'll be okay. And now, what is this, pick number 4? So we got 2 more after this. I mean, Johnny Mullen looks like he can hit. It's just, do I know if this is going to be correct? Because I don't really have him scouted. So do I take a different gamble and go with like Francisco Garcia and see if that potential lives up to the hype? Like lives up to the actual number? So I'm torn between one of these two here. Mullen's potential can't be in the 80s. It just can't be, right? It's probably in the 70s. He's going to be super low rated. Bat or Garcia? I think Garcia. We take one risk in this draft, and then now we have 2 picks left. Let's go with, I don't even know how to say this name, but he's out of Canada. We're going to take Hank, and we're going to finish it off with Ken Aiken, unless maybe there's a different player available. Really quickly, I'm just kind of seeing here. I think, you know what? Let's at least get a couple depth pieces for the bullpen. We'll round it out there. I missed out on maybe Hernandez, who may have had a little bit higher potential than Tom Ye, but overall, I feel pretty happy about the draft. So 10 games under 500, not ideal. I have made a couple changes to the team. You see Roberto Franco is there. Samuels is now a long reliever. I've moved some pieces around offensively, though. I haven't changed anything. But yeah, I gotta get everybody signed up. All right, draft picks wise, I'm happy with that. I just want to see if there's a generational player. Robbie Bannister with 94 potential, 93 potential for Doug Giles. Couple high 80s I'm seeing, but a lot of low rated players. No one that's like really like crazy good. Mauricio Casto looks pretty decent. You've got Lindsey Valentine, Dion Lynch, Jimmy Norman looks good. Jeffrey Huerta looks okay. But yeah, again, like, I mean, there's a really good closer here, but okay, Dustin Shelley. There's a couple now that I'm starting to see here. Like Thomas Wilga looks pretty decent, along with Barry Smith, but no generational talents. And I'm okay with that. Ooh, Aguilar had some pop. Just everything else looks pretty bad. And yeah, no generational talents. So we've got 83 potential for Valdez. I knew the potential wasn't going to be amazing, but good fielding, reaction, decent speed, decent hitting stats. I'm okay with that. Again, B potential for Cantrell. He looks fine. Good fielding, good speed. It just depends on if the hitting stats will catch up. Fink looks like a slightly better hitter, but the fielding's not as good, but also better speed. We've got Tom Ye, who is that hitter that we were looking for. Let's go see if we can find Hernandez really quick. So Hernandez went to the Royals, and Ye actually looks pretty similar. Maybe a little less fielding, maybe a little less speed and stealing, but pretty similar. Maybe a little less potential. What was it, like 3 or 4 potential different? Yeah, 4 potential different. It's not too bad. I'm okay with that pick a round later. Francisco Garcia, 52 overall. Yeah, gonna be a little bit of a project. Hank Olejewski is probably how it's pronounced. Honestly, for a 58 overall, not bad. Good hits per 9, decent control, good velocity, good break. Per 9s are not terrible. Like the home runs per 9 is pretty bad, but I mean the clutch and the walks per 9 are pretty close to 60, so I'm pretty happy there. And then Aiken doesn't have much potential, but again, not bad per 9s. Like those are some pretty decent relievers at the end of the draft. I'm happy with this picks. Happy with these picks. There you go. 74 and 88. Honestly, not a bad season. Slightly worse than last year, which a little bit of a bummer, but I'm okay with that. We do have an award, and we do have a couple league leaders. De La Rosa again with the home runs and RBIs, which is awesome to see. I doubt we do have any like crazy like rookie of the year. We shouldn't, at least. But really quickly, I'll fly through the rosters just so you can kind of see what the teams are looking like 9 seasons in the future, essentially 10 years now that the 9th season is basically over. I mean, there's some pretty high rated players. You also got to think some of the real life players are pretty old, so take that into account. So you're gonna see some lower rated guys, like Bobby Witt was down to like almost a 93, so there's that. Gunnar Henderson's down to a 97. James Woods a 92. Okay, holy cow, the Marlins look kind of juiced. Holy cow, dang. I like the looks of that team. So just looking at the teams around the league, there's some interesting names for sure. The Reds look pretty bad for sure. And Diamondbacks not bad. You got the Rockies who look pretty decent. The Dodgers are always going to find a way to be good. The Padres, the Giants. Okay, so some juiced teams, some not so juiced teams. But I feel like, you know what? Not bad. We do still have those 2 90 rated players plus the 90 rated pitcher. We've tallied that little challenge off like a few seasons ago. We're still 1 rookie of the year away and a World Series away from this challenge being complete. But awards, a couple gold gloves once again, the 3 that got it last year, and then back-to-back MVPs for Cesar De La Rosa. He is starting to regress pretty heavily, has been for the last couple seasons, especially like in the fielding department. But again, he's dominating. I mean, the OPS has been over a 1, which is huge. What awards did he tally in 2032? So the MVP and All-Star again, a gold glove, another home run champion, and another Silver Slugger. This guy's just amazing. Tatis won it on the other side. Skeens, now with the Diamondbacks, along with Jackson Jobe, was the Cy Young winners. Alvarez and Drew Jones, batting title winners. Roger Hall, reliever of the year, along with Brusdar Graterol. And the rookie of the year goes to Xavier Isaac and Gino Groover. Not Grover, Groover. I did want to see player stats. Let's go to career. And let me go through the whole league really quick just to kind of see. Judge did hit 600 home runs. 577 for Yordan, who is now 34. Judge is 39. Looks like this was the first year he didn't play in the majors, but 600 home runs for him. Machado's at 550. Soto's at 545 at 33 years old, and he's still 88 overall. So you'd think he's got 2 more years left on his deal. So at 33 years old, yeah, you'd think he could get close to the 600 mark with 2 good seasons. What's he averaging the last couple of years? Yeah, he should hit it for sure. Give him 2-3 seasons. Devers at 500 and 500 for Bryce Harper. If we take a look at maybe like stolen bases, Mullins is beating out Trey Turner. Okay. J-Ram's at 400. That's pretty impressive. Acuna's at 400. Not too bad. Hits wise, Machado is just shy of 3,000, and I don't think he will make it, sadly, which is a bummer. And then just really quickly, let's take a look at wins. Aaron Nola is the current active leader. Saves, it's Edwin Diaz by quite a bit, actually. And then strikeout leader really quickly with 3,200 is Nola. And then the next closest is Spencer Strider. So not bad. Okay, not too bad across the league. Pitching rotation, let's take a look here. So Samuels really struggled. I should be able to send him down next year, let him work on a couple things. Should be fine. Marte came up after struggling a little bit last year. It was pretty good in 26 innings. He'll probably take Samuel's spot. That's probably the best move. Chambers, no. Ordonez put together a good season. Love to see that. Franco, 11 innings, didn't allow a single earned run. That's pretty impressive. Maravilla, yeah, that's not great. Pruitt was pretty lights out. And then Matos as our closer did blow 9 saves. Probably going to change it to Pruitt, to be honest. Or maybe something like that. Like that might be it for the team moving forward. Domingo definitely struggled a little bit this year. He's still improving, but he's striking out people like crazy, which is good to see. We've got Gabriel Soto, similar season to last year. Munoz, not as good, but these two seem to kind of be capped out at 81. So we're definitely going to need to see if some of those other guys could step in if need be. Carlos Diaz is still improving. Like to see that. And then Casilla, again, decent. decent, can't complain. I'm liking what I'm seeing. Plus, we still got these two here. These guys, Irisari and Muriel, almost at 80. So same thing with John Allen. Basically, our whole AAA roster is almost at 80. And then, of course, Uribe doesn't have much potential. But with Dorta, Marte, and Martin here, we're looking pretty good. Plus, we've got a couple guys here developing in AA. I'm feeling good about the squad. Really quickly, in AA, hitting-wise, Montalvo's up to a 62, looks okay. Belliard up to a 63. And moving into AAA, we've got Metler a 68. Oka a 66. Looks like he had a good year in AAA, which is awesome. Chen up to a 73. I like that 8 for the power versus lefties. And then Encarnacion looks like he kind of struggled in AAA this year, which is not ideal. He might actually be Rule 5 eligible soon. I got to keep an eye on that. Domingo plus 10 power versus lefties. He probably needs to be added to the major league team squad soon. Same thing with Alfonso. It's looking like these hitters are starting to come together. I don't know. He might not be ready just yet. Again, I don't want to rush him because I don't want to like lose an opportunity for a rookie of the year, but they might be better than what we currently have. Anyways, Olivo 325 average, 410 on base percentage. That's huge. I like that. Really like that. Santiago, what are we at now? 340 on base percentage. OPS dipped a little bit, which does suck, but overall still a really good productive bat. De La Rosa, back-to-back MVP. Metler still doing fine, but probably capped out at 92. So we'll see what happens with him. Still a good season though. Gus Hudson, still decent bat. Nothing too crazy, but he's fine. Nothing to just be excited about. Like he's serviceable. Rich Castilla, really the only shortstop we've drafted outside of Metler. Similar, like this kind of looks like the career number that we're going to see for him, right? He's going to hover around a 250 average and a 750-ish, maybe a little lower on the OPS. Nate Hearn is kind of like this. This is the Nate Hearn stat line. And Luis Carrasco, a career year, I'll give him that, but nothing too crazy. Devin McGee, that's Devin McGee, the glove first guy. So I'm thinking maybe Chen makes the step up to the big leagues next year. Maybe not, actually. I'm just like looking at it going, I don't really know who else could step in or how I could like maybe rearrange the team. Maybe Hudson steps to the bench and he's just like a really good bench bat. Like I'm just trying to see what kind of quirks do we have? Anybody here have any quirks? First pitch hitter, situational hitter. Ooh, okay. I like that. So nothing there, and nothing there, nothing there. Okay, so we'll keep an eye on those. I'm liking what I'm seeing though. We're at least getting progression. We're at least hovering around somewhere near a wild card spot. As the Rays defeat the Diamondbacks, we'll quickly see who was the MVP there. Colton Cowser. You can see Jacob Wilson was the MVP and Ronnie Mauricio the year before. There we go. Off-season time. It's time to head into the 10th season. Alrighty, so season 10. And there's a couple changes, a couple rookies making their debut. David Jew is in the squad, and of course our AAA squad that has almost all 80 starters. So I think heading into this draft, I'm looking for impact bats. I feel like that's kind of where we're lacking. I just feel like we're deep enough pitching wise. We're like, I even trust the relievers. I can also make some of these starters relievers if need be. So I just feel like we're looking good. Like I'm not too stressed about pitching. I just need to get a little bit lucky in the draft pool where some of those hitters pop up and we actually get a couple good hitters that could immediately impact the team. The issue is I also need them to be in positions that we need. Like we could use a third base upgrade, a shortstop upgrade, a second base upgrade. I feel like outfield we're pretty good. I also feel like, what else? Catcher, we're fine for now. First base, we're fine for now, even though our window of opportunity with De La Rosa and Metler is definitely closing because they're not going to hold their rating for too much longer. But again, team looks good. Tom Chen is going to make his debut. I don't think he'll be in the 4 spot. I might move him up to the leadoff spot. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, the team's looking fine. I could definitely use just like this little bottom half. We need a little bit of offensive upgrades. Like Castilla's not terrible, Hearn is not terrible, Carrasco's not terrible, McGee's not terrible, but like they're not great, right? 250, 240, 260, 230, like is not ideal. So I need some luck here. I need the scouting this scouting window needs to be like really good. Give me some offensive players that can help us out. Let's get to the draft. All right, heading into the draft, we have pick number 6. Obviously, we're not one of the, I mean, we still are one of the worst teams, but not like the worst team anymore. I wanted hitters. What did I get? Pitchers, and it's not looking great. So all of the scouted players here, we've got the number 2 player, the number 3 player, but he is a reliever, and as amazing as he looks, I can't do it. I can't do it with the first pick. So if he makes it to the second round, great, but if he doesn't, oh well. But yeah, 5, 7, 8, like we've got some high rated players for once. It was just they were all pitchers, which is super unfortunate. And then after that, it goes like 27, 33, 40, and then we're back into the 50s. So yeah, I mean, it's tough. Like Kenji Nomo looks good for a second round pick if he falls to us. I just think his potential and overall are basically going to be the same. And outside of that, there really aren't many other position players that interest me. Maybe Bonilla. And then there was a outfielder. Walter Bong looks okay. I just don't know how well he's going to progress. And there was one more. I think he was this one, Navarro. But again, he doesn't look amazing, so I don't really know if it's really worth a pick because I just don't know how quickly he's going to develop. And if he does develop, is he even going to be good? You know, like this guy looks like he'll be fine, but like 80 something potential at best, mid 80s at best. I can't use a first round pick on that. Yeah, it's just it's looking pretty rough. I feel like we're in a little bit of a tough situation. So it looks like we're gonna go pitcher first, unless we can get Richie Villalobos to survive until the 6th pick. If he does, we're good. If not, then we're probably gonna go with Quiroz, Castillo, Montano, or Dorta. I feel like those are kind of the options there. So let's see what happens. We've got the Astros, the Orioles, and then the Braves, which are like 3 teams I would not expect to be the first 3. Oh, there goes Montano. So we're not going to be able to get him. Next up, it's the Orioles. They're going to go with Rene Gonzalez. And the final pick, the Braves, they are going to choose Donovan Olszewski, or whatever, Donovan. There, he's a Brave. So next up, who do we go with? And there goes Villalobos. So we will not be taking a position player in the first round. We will be taking a pitcher. All right. So do I want Quiroz, Castillo, or Dorta? I think I want Quiroz. So, I mean, that's really about it. I don't really know what else we could do to change it up. And this is pick number 43. I think I'm going to take Kenji Nomo. Like I said, potential and overall is probably going to be very similar. But he looks to be a guy that can immediately help us out and just hop into the team. The issue is catcher and first base are pretty full right now. So we might have to move some pieces around. Got 2 players here. I might throw that guy on the board. He looks pretty good. We'll throw that guy on the board too. I've got a couple. I've only got a minute, so I got to be kind of quick here with who I want or don't want. So I think Maury Full of Love. I think I got to get him just because of the name. I'm going to throw him on the board as well. How much time do I got? 30 seconds. Everybody else look good. Potentially for a little bit later. And I have a feeling there's also some other ones. So I think we're going to take... I think we take Bong. No, we'll take Bong here. Actually, when's my next pick? 109. Does Navarro make it? We'll see. We'll take Bong here. And then next round, Navarro is there. So we'll take him as well. So we'll at least get 2 more position players, even though realistically, probably not going to be too high rated. And then from here, dang, we missed out on a couple of relievers that actually looked kind of good. Hold on. Which ones did we miss out on? Who was it? It was... Robbins looked pretty decent. I wouldn't have minded him as a starter. There's Gutierrez with a little bit of pop. I don't have much time, so I can't. Oh, yeah, Maury. Maury went to the Dodgers. His potential probably somewhere in the 70s, but he looks pretty decent. So I think here we go with... Let's go with him because he is ranked, so he's probably going to get chosen. And then we have one more pick, and let me double check to make sure we don't have anybody that... like it's too crazy. I could go with the low rated high potential catcher. I could do that. I'm like just trying to see if there's like any anything that kind of pops, and it doesn't really look like it. Do I want him? I don't think I do. So I think that's really about it. I think we just kind of accept that it wasn't an amazing draft. The hits per nine is a little bit low. So do I take the high potential guy, or do I just take the guy that might be a little bit higher rated? Ooh, actually, this guy doesn't look too bad. Hold on, I got 20 seconds. Let me hits per nine or walks per nine. What do I want? I'm gonna take Rivero. And that's gonna be the last one. I don't feel great about this. Alrighty, so the draft obviously is over. We are first in the division, which don't know how that's happening. But let's take a look. How did we do in the draft? Okay. All right, so Quiroz, 93 potential, 66 overall. Hits a little low, but not too bad. Nomo, 80 overall, 80 potential. That's a little bit of a bummer. Could I change his position somewhere else and maybe it'll lower his overall so he at least has like a season or two to develop? I don't know if that's third base, maybe. I don't know if that'll lower his rating. We'll have to test it out and see if it works. Walter Bong, 51 overall. Jeez. All right, 50 for Navarro, 72 potential for Briggs. He does look pretty good. The clutch and the control's a little low, but the rest of the per nines don't look bad. And then Rivero, 67 overall. He looks okay. He doesn't look terrible, 73 potential. So not a bad draft. We definitely got an impact bat in Nomo. Just not much potential based on his overall. So it's going to be pretty tough. And I could definitely use a bat. Speaking of a bat, though, Nate Hearn having a season. Really liking what I'm seeing there. But like Carrasco's not doing well. Castilla's doing fine. And our guy Santiago's kind of having a rough season this year. So there's that. Tom Chen is in the race for Rookie of the Year. Just a heads up. But we've got Rock Riggio hitting 314. And I don't know if he's going to be able to beat him. So it's going to be a close race. We're still in the playoffs. I might have to move some people around just based on how performances are going. Like Rolando Hand has only pitched 17 innings. Got him called up because David Ju was really struggling. 5.78 ERA. So probably going to rock like this for the rest of the season. There are a couple arms that are struggling. We've got Martin up for Dorta, it wasn't Dorta. It was Chambers. No, Maraville, who was really struggling. So I decided to give him a AAA, kind of like a let's get you back on track assignment. So here we go. This is the team. Players are doing well. I'm liking what I'm seeing. We're in first place by 7 games. Let's finish off the season. So we finished winning the division 88-74, but we're taking on the Orioles, who actually just finished right behind us. We finished with the best record. So there's that. I mean, the ERA was clearly the big difference because it looks like they have a slightly better offense than us. So yeah, it was tough. And I mean, I think it really just came down to this little series here at the end where we ended up beating them. We swept the Royals, which was huge. And then we took the series against the Nationals. But now we face them once again. This is the most important one. So with that being said, we do have an award. Is it the Rookie of the Year? Is it the Rookie of the Year? League leaders wise, okay. Is it about to be a Cy Young award? Chen had the most triples. De La Rosa had the most slugging percentage, or the highest slugging percentage, I should say. Holy cow, 345 for Drew Jones. He's just popping off, huh? Ooh, okay. Let's see home runs really quickly. Doubles 62. 15 triples for Devin Saltaban. Okay. Chen had the most. De La Rosa had the most home runs, tied with Caminero and Walker Jenkins. Langford on the other side. Let's see. What's the award? We have Gold Glove. All right. So Gunnar Henderson won MVP. We've got Dylan Cruz also. Archie Hanna, I believe, is a generational talent. He's been in the league for about 2.5 seasons. So yeah, I think he was. Cy Young went to AJ Smith-Shawver, along with Murillo, John Lima, and Domingo were also in the mix. You've got Drew Gilbert and Drew Jones as the batting title winners. David Cabrera, reliever of the year, along with Fernando Santos. And then Daryl Riddick, the pitcher that we passed on. Daryl Riddick with a 4.81 ERA. And then you got a Chetty Vargas and Tom Chen. Ah, man. Alex Murillo won it on the other side. Really? I remember this guy. I remember because he throws super slow. Yeah, that's tough that he didn't win it. All right, let's take a look at the team here. This is definitely not the way I had the team set up, but especially in the playoffs, I definitely want my best arms out there. So let's go with where's my relievers? Hold on. So he needs to be back in, and was it RVA struggled? So I think that might be just too many arms now, right? Let me rearrange this. All right, pitching wise, Steven Munoz looks like he developed slightly. I don't know how much more he will, but just under 100 innings was fantastic. Love it. He's our long reliever. Ordonez, good season. Love to see it. He's up to a 90 overall, so another 90 player to add to the club. 81 for Matos. He looks pretty solid. Looks like he was kind of the setup guy for part of the season. Let's see, was he also the setup guy? He was too. So I think I kind of moved players around, but Matos, definitely a guy that I have faith in. He was unbelievable. What award did he have this year? Did he have a all-star? Another all-star appearance, which is awesome to see. Munoz did not. We've got Franco, who 50 innings, 4 ERA. Not bad. Not bad at all for your first full season. Martin, 14 innings, 18 hits is a problem, but 2.5 ERA is not bad. Not bad at all. Pruitt continues to do very well. And then Marte with the A potential, 45 saves, 8 blown saves, but we'll work with that. Was pretty good. You know what? We threw him in the closer role. I thought because of the clutch, that's kind of why I went with it over. Actually, him and Matos have pretty similar clutch, but I just kind of moved players around, and whatever happened, and this is kind of where he landed, and it was the right choice. So I went with that. So overall, I'm really liking the team. We still have plenty of talent in the farm system too, so I'm looking forward to it. Domingo, 92 overall. The issue is the ERA is just a little bit high. So as much as I want him to be our ace, I'm just not sure he is. He did win a Cy Young, so I can't complain though, right? Diaz, a 3.10 ERA. We've got Soto, who was an all-star this year with a 2.76 ERA. Holy cow, good for him. He was unbelievable. Casilla, 3.96 ERA. And then Rolando Hand came up and was good. I'll take that for sure, because David Ju did struggle a little bit. He did get a September call-up, so he probably pitched a little bit out of the bullpen. But yeah, that's kind of what happened there. So lineup-wise, Gus Hudson, 52 at-bats, struggled a little bit. And then we're also going to have Kenny Domingo and Raul Encarnacion on the bench, just to have somebody just in case the players get tired. It's the playoffs. I want to make sure we have at least some firepower. Tom Chen, third in the Rookie of the Year race with the home runs, the triples, the doubles, stolen bases. Good season for your rookie year. Mettler's starting to regress a little bit, but still a very good season. We've got De La Rosa. Actually, did Mettler get another award? Another Gold Glove. De La Rosa, 95 overall. Fantastic season once again. This is 2033. He was an all-star and a home run champ and a silver slugger. There we go. Olivo continues to improve, and he had a fantastic season. Realistically, it probably should be something like that. But he's really good. Still, like, no all-star appearance, even though he's clearly been one of our more complete hitters, which is crazy. And now let's get to Santiago, who struggled a little bit this year. No awards or accolades, but still an okay season. Castilla with 10, growth in the contact versus lefties. Yeah. Hearn, kind of a breakout season. 42 doubles, 15 home runs, 17 stolen bases, almost an 800 OPS. Carrasco, definitely just, I'm looking for that second baseman replacement. And then McGee is just McGee. So there we go. I can't really put Encarnacion. I guess I could, but I feel like that's a bad idea. So I'm just going to leave it as is. Mettler's up to a 70, a guy that I'm looking. He could potentially be the second baseman. I did add second base to Belliard. I figured he needed a secondary. Third base is cool and all. At 6'4", I guess it could be first base. That is his secondary, but I think maybe second base, kind of like a Moustakas type, just a big guy who can play second and third. It may not be the best second base, but at least we can put him there. He looks fine. Like he grew a little bit. We've got Valdez, who looks pretty good offensively as well. And then Alfonso's up to an 80. Again, we're kind of getting cluttered at that third, first catcher spot. So we'll have to figure something out. Tom Ye up to a 68. But again, these are guys that I really just need their hitting stats to go up so they can help us out a little bit. Garcia, 56 overall. And that's really about it. Besides Fink, and Cantrell. Pitching wise, like I've said, we've got plenty of depth. I mean, Juza an 84, Allen's an 81, and Irisari's an 81. We're looking fine. 82 for Felipe Muriel. Team stacked. I really wish we would have won the Rookie of the Year. I feel like that was probably one of our better chances, but let's see how we do in the postseason. We lose the first, we win the second, and it comes down to our best pitcher this season in Soto, and we win. Do I go back to the starters? Man, they stunk it up, so probably not. So instead, I might go like that. Sounds crazy, but I might. So let's do something here. We're going to go with Casilla. First game gets the win. Rolando Hand. Second game gets the win too. And Soto. I think we know who our pitchers are. As much as these guys are our best pitchers by rating, we got to go with the hot hands. We got to go with the hot hands taking on the Guardians now. That's a good team. They definitely have the firepower. We lose the first, win the second, win the third. Domingo loses 12-1. Oh boy. We win 7-5. We're up 1. We just need one more win, and we do it 11-2. Taking on the Brewers. Cade Horton's a Brewer. Gross. That can't happen. DeAndre Frank looks like a beast. He looks really good. Manzardo, Jackson Holiday. Oh, this is a good team. Yeah, this was a guy that I remember that couldn't draft. Yeah, but I remember seeing him. Dudley Pearson, definitely remember his name. Yeah, this team's stacked. We're gonna have to get super lucky to win. So what is the pitching scenario? Hand is first. So a Hand, Soto, Domingo, Casilla. When was the last time Casilla pitched? A few days ago. I think he could probably go right there. I don't think I can start Domingo. I might have to go with somebody else. I might go. We'll see. It's the World Series. The fact that we even made it this far is crazy. Game 1, Cade Horton, Hand. We win 2-1. We win the second 1-0. Oh man, Casilla 4-5. Okay, Carlos Diaz 4-8. Cade Horton versus Domingo. I think we got to go back to Rolando Hand and just see how it goes. I feel good about this. This has got to be it, right? How's the offense looking so far? Tom Chen's struggling a little bit. Maybe we put Santiago back up there. Everybody's kind of struggling here, so we might actually move some pieces around here. Hold on. Let's go with maybe McGee swinging a hot bat. We've got a backup catcher, a first baseman. Tom Chen, maybe. I don't really know. I don't really have. Domingo could play first. I don't really have the extra. Oh, this is a problem. Hearn cannot play short, so I can't move Castilla. And I don't have any of these guys on the 40-man. That's why I'm kind of in a little bit of a pickle here. So I guess I have to leave it as is and just hope that we win this series, which we do win that one. And it comes down to Soto versus Mizorowski. We just won a World Series. What? I totally did not expect us to do that, like at all. I honestly did not. Award De La Rosa MVP, Adrian Santiago postseason MVP, 24 RBIs. 24 RBIs during the postseason, and it wasn't even our best pitchers. It was Hand, who got called up midway through the season, Soto, and Sammy Casilla. I mean, did the bullpen hold it down? Some did, some didn't. Marte looks like he did very well. And then offensively, I mean, the top three right here, definitely tip your cap. Look at Santiago with the 25 RBIs. Metler had a good postseason. Chen struggled a little bit. Devin McGee, man, the guy stunk it up at the plate, all rebuild. And then in the postseason came to play. I mean, I feel like I feel like we can't end it there though. I want to see at least one more season. Maybe get that catcher that we just drafted into the team somehow. Maybe get this guy into the team. Maybe kind of shake some things up a little bit. See if we can get a little bit of a repeat. Let's go one more season, see if we can get that final rookie of the year and see what happens, because I wasn't expecting a World Series this year. Alrighty, let's run it back. Season 11. This is the squad. I'm going to put Domingo in the 5 spot, see how that goes. And then basically the pitching's the same. I've got a couple guys added to the 40-man to see if we can get them into the team. Like Muriel definitely deserves a shot. He looks fantastic. David Ju deserves another chance. Maybe Allen, Irizarry, maybe a couple bullpen arms if need be. But overall, pitching did really well last year. So I feel like, hey, maybe we just rock with them. And then I just called up as many bats as I possibly could. And as you can see, this is the bench. And we've got Nomo, we've got Amoros in the team now. Like, the team is looking good. Defensively, we are very suspect. But we've got the 90 rated players. We've got De La Rosa, we've got Metler, we've got Domingo, we've got... Oh, Ordonez didn't make it, did he? He's close, but he's there. And then we just need that rookie of the year. If we don't get it, it would suck. But hey, we won the World Series. I feel like that's already good enough. So let's do it. Let's get through this final season. All right, so we are a wild card team. We kind of fell off a little bit. Things, you know, we moved some pieces around. It just didn't really work out. Offensively, I think we definitely fell behind a little bit. No awards this year. Domingo with the most strikeouts, Soto with the most WAR. And if you take a look at rotation, this is what we're going to rock with. Marte, not bad. He was our closer. Definitely blew 9 saves, though, so I'm going to take him out, add him to the long relief role. But again, just a really solid season for him. You got Irizarry, who's going to take over because I had David Ju up. He struggled again, which sucks. And then we also had Muriel up, and he struggled quite a bit. Walks, kind of a big issue for sure. Hits a little bit too. Sadly, couldn't get like Bautista involved or a couple other guys. It just didn't work out. Munoz struggled a little bit too. So there was that. And we just kind of rocked with the hot hand at the moment. You know, Jason Chambers is going to get another shot for the postseason. Roberto Franco, sub 2 ERA. He was an all-star this year, which is awesome to see. Ordonez, 2.4 ERA, sub 1 whip. He was also an all-star, which is cool. MLB stats for Martin, not the best, but we're pretty happy with that. Pruitt, low-key unsung hero of the bullpen this entire rebuild. Crazy good seasons from him, love to see it. And then Matos was just a very reliable reliever too. I mean, basically besides the 2032 season, I mean, a 3 ERA or lower. I mean, that's crazy stuff. Diaz looks to be our new #1 pitcher. He looks fantastic. You've got Rolando Hand, who is also pretty good, along with Soto, who continues to do very well. I honestly think Soto is probably our best pitcher with Diaz behind him. Hand, Casilla is pretty good too. Can't complain about that. And then Domingo just strikes out everybody. ERA is still a little bit high though. If we take a look at the lineup, we've got Gus Hudson, who was pretty bad off the bench. He did have an all-star appearance in 2030. Encarnacion is getting better at 26 years old and was pretty solid off the bench in 23 appearances. We've got an 800 OPS for Carrasco. And then Devin McGee is just the gold glove man, and he was moved to the bench for this season. So Santiago was our leadoff guy this season. He was fairly good. What were the awards for him? The playoff MVP, all-star, and rookie of the year. So sadly, we weren't able to get the rookie of the year challenge done. But hey, we won the World Series. We've got the 90 overall players. I'm really happy. Olivo, another unsung hero of this entire rebuild, continuously one of our best hitters. Sadly, no all-star appearances or anything. We've got De La Rosa, who's down to an 87. Really fell off this year. Unbelievable after I had to pay him a stupid contract to make him stay. But the guy got all the accolades, so I can't be upset there. Metler, also had to pay him quite a bit. Gold glove machine behind the plate. Love to see that. We've got Nomo in his first season with the team. He was okay. 30 home runs almost. That's pretty good. Chen in his second full season, pretty identical to what he did last season. Hearn, not as good as last year, but still pretty respectable. Gotta hand it to him. I mean, the guy was one of the lowest rated players to start with out of this whole rebuild. Got himself up to a 76. Pretty solid. Alfonso, how we looking? Not bad for our first season. The crazy thing is we're rocking 1, 2, 3 catchers in this lineup, and then Rich Castilla literally only played because we had no other shortstops. The rest of the team currently looks like this in the farm system. I feel like we did a fairly good job. I feel like we got pretty lucky in the season 10 World Series run. Let's see how we do here against the Mariners. and our season is over. But that is the international draft only rebuild. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit the thumbs up down below. Subscribe to the channel if you're new and enjoy the content. And of course, in the comment section, let me know what video is next. If you want to see some more draft content, let me know in the comment section. Of course, hit the like button if you want to see that USA only rebuild. If you're looking for some more rebuild content, you should check out the video on screen now. I definitely think you will enjoy it. Catch you all in the next one. Peace.